Baddies, welcome to the first ever second ever full episode for the book reviews.
Yes.
For the book club. This one's a special one. Mm-hmm. This one, we wanted to give a full refresher on ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. So, what Oddie has done, which is good of him, is he's gone and compiled every segment we've done on ACOTAR so far. And he's made it all into one massive long episode. So if this is the first one you're listening to, then you're caught up on everything.
It's all in the one place.
It's all in the one place. And next week, we will be doing our first review of chapters 1 to 7 on ACOMAF, A Court of Mist and Fury. Mm-hmm. Don't miss out. Remember, if you want the book club early, it will be on Patreon on Monday.
Easy money, and this is all happening because this is what the book club has formed into.
Yes.
It's evolved from a singular segment in the podcast, and because you guys are turning up week after week after week, this is all going to be in one place for the new listeners, and then moving forward, it's its own episode.
Yes.
We love you.
Love you guys.
Enjoy.
Stay bad.
Jake and Audie, the relatable party.
Okay, everybody, this is super exciting. Welcome to the Relatables Baddies Book Club.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Relatables Book Club, where we will embark on a journey reading some of the finest pieces of literature you have ever laid eyes, or ears, if that's your preferred way to consume a book, on.
Pause.
Yeah.
How did you make that? How the fuck did you make that?
Secrets.
I know you obviously did it in like audition or something or GarageBand.
Yeah.
Do I want to know?
So I thought for some reason, this new segment of Relatables Baddies Book Club is hands down the most excited I've been for a segment since Dilemmas. All right? And I thought we need a proper opening. Now, that doesn't have to be it. I just was going to come week to week.
No, I like that, man.
Let's go! That's the opening to Relatables Baddies Book Club. I'm glad you like it. I was so excited.
Should I add at the end of it, A Court of Thorns and Roses?
Yeah, we can make a new, each time we'll keep that.
And then
each time we'll
add the book.
Yeah, the book we're reading.
And maybe like the chapter. So we read 3 chapters.
Guys, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
3 chapters deep.
I like to call her Sarah Jane Maas now that I'm on first term basis. Yeah.
Okay, so far, quickly, I want to add, what did you think of the first 3 episodes, Oddie? Because I wrote notes.
I did. Mine aren't as long as yours. I've got like 5 words. Okay. Initial impressions. I want to say I've never read a book like this.
Neither.
It was a little bit hard to get into because the dialogue was fucking descriptive.
Okay.
And then after a little bit, I'm like, because we have to do it for Relatables, I was like, let's get into this. Let's get in the groove. And I had to really like conceptualize the characters in my head.
Same.
And I really got into it. And I'm liking it. And I do have a few thoughts. But first impressions, I'm like, okay, this is new to me. But I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
Same.
I'm intrigued.
I don't know. I think right off the bat, my mindset was like, this is for the podcast.
Yeah.
So I want to be into it. So when we talk about it, I'm into it.
Yeah.
And so from the get-go, I was like, this book's the best book I've ever read. Before I opened it, I was like, this is going to be the best book I've ever read. And so far, I'm loving it.
Okay.
But I wrote down all these notes.
Yeah.
And these notes is just kind of like what we know so far. And I thought it might just help us both to talk about it. Okay. So A Court of Thorns and Roses. It is in this world, they live on a continent that consists of the Prythian and then also the mortal lands.
Yes.
Centuries ago, the high fae of Prythian used the mortals of the mortal lands as slave labor until a war broke out and was only stopped once an invisible wall was placed between Prythian and the mortal lands and a treaty was made. Now, the mortals that we know so far
Yes.
is the main character. Is it Feyre or Freya?
I think it's Feyre, but
Feyre.
I don't mind calling her.
Yeah, Feyre. She's the youngest daughter of 3, the only real provider for her father and 2 sisters. She doesn't hate her sisters, but I get the sense that she's a little jealous of them.
I wasn't going to say jealous. I thought the rest of her family getting a free ride.
Yeah, see here, no, tell me. I'm going to say this because I've wrote like what I kind of think. You tell me what you think after I say it. So
Okay.
that's what I think of Feyre.
Yeah.
Is that so? She's the provider.
Yeah.
And that I get the sense that because she talks about things that her sisters do that annoy her.
Yeah.
But she's not once hated them. She's never once like she has said, "I'm keen ads for them to be married off," but
to me, it sounded like she was doing it out of guilt because her mum died.
oh yeah, and her mum made
Her mum
promise.
made her promise to provide for the family, even though she's not the eldest daughter. Mm-hmm. And then she's like doing it because she made that promise to her mum who's died. But then, like, the back of her head, she's like, "These girls are bitches."
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I
No.
took it. Yeah.
And you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You are not wrong.
And then the dad's just like got a broken knee and isn't able to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Elaine is the middle daughter of three. She seems to be a real girly girl who is always cheery and in denial about the fact that they are poor.
And apparently they're poor.
Poor.
What's the? They kept saying like iron something. Iron. They used to have. I didn't understand what that is.
I don't know what it was, but
It was like iron jewelry.
yeah.
I didn't understand
And so
that.
the reason people wear iron jewelry is to apparently the Fairy and the High Fae don't like it, but it's all kind of a myth.
Right. Yeah.
Nesta,
Yes.
the eldest of three, honestly, just kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. She's just a bitch.
Yeah. The sisters both were a bit. Yeah.
I reckon she's jealous of Feyre.
Yeah.
Yeah. The father, I don't think they've said his name.
I didn't take it into account if they did.
But I said I'm not sure they've mentioned his name. He has a bad knee and kind of just sounds useless because he used to be pretty rich.
Yeah. And so what I didn't get is like someone came into the house and then
It was like debt collectors or
yeah,
something.
but like they didn't explain what the debt was and then they didn't have the money, so they just broke his knee and then it took like 2 years to recover and now he can't even walk like past a K.
Yeah, he still can't. Yeah, he's just fucked.
Yeah, he's just fucked.
And the cold weather, they're in winter now, and apparently the cold weather just like makes it flare up.
yeah.
Okay. And then Isaac.
Is that the one she slept with?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Isaac is Feyre's secret lover. And he has just gotten married.
Yeah.
Getting the vibes that he's kind of hot, but nerdy at the same time. He's the son of a decently successful local farmer.
I got the vibe that what's his name? Isaac. Isaac and Farah are going to sleep together and they're going to cheat. I think.
The vibe I get near the end of the last chapter was that when they were in the village and she saw Isaac from a distance, she said something like, we don't try and fully hide our loving, but we do try to keep it discreet.
Yeah.
And so then she goes like, he kind of does a nod and walks into this empty barn. And then she says to her sisters like, "I'll see you at home." So I think they did go fuck.
At the end of that chapter.
I think they go have sex.
Oh.
And then at the last paragraph is her saying, just at home sitting around the fire because now they're back home.
I took it as Isaac was going to get married. He's not married yet.
Ooh.
And I don't know if engagement is a thing.
Yes.
So he's like, because they do like families like, I'm going to marry Jake's family because he has good sheep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Nesta, the bitch sister, has a boyfriend.
He's a wood logger,
And
chopper.
apparently he's the woodcutter's son.
Yeah.
And is apparently going to propose to Nesta.
Yeah.
But Feyre's kind of like, bitch, you have nothing to offer his family. He is not going to propose to you. He's just leading you on.
Yeah. No, he just wants that because she's apparently hot.
Yeah, she's supposed to be good looking.
They want that pussy.
Yeah, he just wants that pussy.
That's what the sister was
It is
saying.
what it is.
Yeah, that is what it is.
The game is the game in this book, apparently.
Yeah, I know. And okay. So
Now.
initial impressions, I liked it. I liked it. Very mystical, magical.
Yeah, I have two more.
Okay, sorry.
I'll read. So that was the mortals.
Yeah.
And of the Prithian, this is what we know, who exists is the High Fae.
Yeah.
Not much said yet, except that they're evil,
Yeah.
wield magic, are unkillable, and pretty much just beast all round.
With a high fray that have that like magical barrier
So
that the mercenary was talking about.
Yeah, they're north of that wall.
Yeah.
And then also the Fairy, I believe, or the Fairy.
Yeah.
They're monsters that live above the wall, seemingly the pets of the High Fae, very, very hard to kill. Now, I believe that Feyre, at the start of the book, when she kills that wolf, it was a Fairy.
Ooh.
That's what I'm thinking we're going to get into.
Okay. So I think Freyra, you know how she just sold the
Like
wolf
the pelts.
and wolf and deer skin
Yep.
to the mercenary.
Yeah, the mercenary.
That beast of a chick with like scars. I think Freya is going to become a mercenary. That's my prediction.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's what I think. And then she's like, I don't know, do they hunt those magical, mystical beings?
Maybe.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
But I don't know how she's going to provide for the family while doing that.
Maybe she's going to fuck off.
Wouldn't blame her.
Neither would I, bro. Neither would I. Seriously.
Yeah. I also, I'm going sharp left turn. I reckon Freya might have some same-sex, like, funny business in this book.
Ooh, okay.
She's going to do some exploring.
I like it.
Yeah, I reckon.
I like what I'm hearing. I love it all.
The way she described the mercenary, like the skin tone
She
and
described the
shape.
mercenary like it was turning her on.
Yeah, the shape.
did.
I was like, wait, what are you doing here?
Whoa, good point.
But then she went and had sex with Isaac, or
And she's also
alluded to it.
She's like the same.
She could be bi.
She could be bi. She's the main provider for her family. She goes out and hunts.
Yeah.
She goes out and sells the pelts, the animal pelts to get money. She does everything.
Yeah.
So she has maybe that some masculine energy as well.
She's got a lot to offer.
Yeah. Wow.
And maybe some men can't realize it. Yeah. That the women would. Like, she's hot.
You never do know.
She's hot.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, Mackin, okay, I want to read, just for people that haven't read the book and are thinking of reading the book, I want to read just the last couple words from the last chapter that we read, last couple of words of chapter 3, which got me so keen to read chapter 4.
I was thinking about, well, maybe I'll read chapter 4 and like just stop my dialogue of talking at chapter 3 because the cliffhanger, man.
It's fucking. Should I just read this?
Ah, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Get like a feel for the dialogue they're talking about.
Later, after another dinner of venison, which is deer, when we were all gathered around the fire for the quiet hour before bed, I watched my sisters whispering and laughing together. They'd spent every copper I'd given them. On what? I didn't know. Though Elaine had brought back a new chisel for our father's wood carving. The cloak and boots they'd whined about the night before had been too expensive. But I hadn't scolded them for it, not when Nesta went out a second time to chop wood without my asking. Mercifully, they avoided another confrontation with the children of the blessed, which we should say something about after this. My father was dozing in his armchair, his cane laid across his gnarled knee, as good a time as any to broach the subject of Thomas Mandery with Nesta. I turned to her, opening my mouth. But there was a roar that half deafened me, and my sisters screamed as snow burst into the room, and an enormous, growling shape appeared in the doorway. That's the end of chapter 3, guys.
The shape.
Isn't that fucking crazy? That's why I think she killed a fairy, and like his mates are coming to get her for it.
I was going to say, is it that mercenary chick coming back?
Oh shit! Is she that much of a beast though?
She's going to
Like
come back and be like,
roaring? Or is she
I want to teach you.
a high fae? And they're magic.
Maybe. Oh, so you want to talk about those kids who are
Okay,
like,
so yeah,
what are they called?
the children of the blessed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a real world situation. In this village, there's a cult like.
It's quite hard to conceptualize all the different terminologies in the start. I will say that. Like only 3 chapters in, I'm sure I'll get a swing of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they seemed annoying and like they're trying to persuade people that
The high fae are actually good.
Yeah, and you can like worship them like gods or something.
Yeah. Like, and they were like, we sent our cousin to the wall and she never returned. She's the bride of one of the high fae. And one of them's like, bitch, she just got eaten.
Yeah.
Like what?
That was the one moment I liked one of the sisters.
Yeah, same. They were like,
Bitch, she's dead.
Fucking have some sense.
It's funny because it's obviously like written as though it's like, I don't know, 17 or 1800s.
Yeah.
But then also some of the dialogue's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just chilling.
Yeah, it's chilling.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Like, bitch, she's dead.
Yeah, and so Thomas Mandery, that name I just said, he's the woodcutter's son.
Yeah.
So Pharaoh was going to ask her something about that, but then we were interrupted.
Okay, so for next episode,
Okay, yeah. How many I read them quick.
how many chapters? Do you want 5 or 10?
Let's do 10.
10 chapters?
Let's do 10. And what we need to do though after each chapter is actually no. Let's do this because I think we need to do something to stay on top of it. Let's do 7 chapters.
Okay.
Just one a day, basically.
Oh, right,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah.
So should we do, if we do one tonight and then up until
Well, I'm making
next
it for the
Monday
listeners.
night?
Just do 10.
Okay. We'll
Just
do 10
yeah,
chapters.
yeah.
After each chapter or after like every 2 chapters or something, we need to just write a couple notes.
Take some notes. It's a good idea.
Just so we can stay on top of it in our head.
Yeah.
Because we'll read a fair bit of stuff.
So I saw a lot of comments that were like, I'm going to read with you. So
Yes.
next episode, we'll be up to chapter 13.
Yes, we will. We will be okay. Yeah, everybody, listen. We will be up to chapter 13 next episode.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Baddies Book Club. What do you do
I
to
love it.
stop? Close the book.
Do you want me to? Oh yeah. Wow, what a good chapter.
Welcome to Relatable's Book Club, where we will embark on a journey reading some of the finest pieces of literature you have ever laid eyes, or ears, if that's your preferred way to consume a book, on.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
I love it.
Let's go.
I love it.
I do need to remember to put Relatable's Baddies Book Club.
That's
and
all
then
right.
at the end of it, I think we'll leave it at that. And because each time we read a new book, we'll just say,
Yeah. I like what you
A
did
Court
there.
of Thorns and Roses.
I kind of like that. Like it's not like properly produced.
okay, sweet.
Yeah, I kind of like it. It's got Jake's personal
beginner,
touch in it.
man.
Yeah.
Beginner. Yeah.
Relatable's Baddies Book Club is back in session.
Excited. As you guys know, the confession is I've gone one chapter too far.
Yeah, you're a dog age.
So I don't actually know what I can say, and I don't know how much information was in that last chapter.
You cheated on me.
I did. I'm
We
sorry.
are up to chapter 13, and for everyone reading along with us, we welcome you to this session.
Yeah.
So, what are our new thoughts and feelings on the book so far?
I'm obsessed, bro.
Really?
I'm fucking obsessed. Oi, this book, okay, you know when you're watching a Netflix series and it's getting late
Yeah.
and the end of the episode has a cliffhanger and you're pissed because you have to watch another one because you have to find out what happens right now. You can't wait. You won't sleep otherwise.
This book loves a cliffhanger.
This book, it's the equivalent feeling. I never thought I'd feel this way about a book.
Yeah.
Of excitement to read the next chapter because of the cliffhanger in the last.
Okay, Jake. I'm going to disagree with you here.
Really?
This book's long.
What?
That 10 chapters, nothing happened.
Stuff's happening.
Nothing happened.
Oh, I'm loving it.
It was so slow. Like the first 7 of them, slow.
Yeah, slow burn.
Yeah, very slow.
I love a slow burn.
Really?
Love.
Are you loving it so much because of what like we've created with the Baddies Book Club, or actually like the book?
See, here's the thing.
It doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
No. Fair. I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, okay, good.
But definitely dissecting the book. It's long.
Okay. It's a long book.
It's very slow.
I could have read 20 chapters.
Freya is now in
Feyre
is now in Prithian.
Yeah, so where we left off, our predictions, wrong.
You were right about how she killed a fairy.
She did kill a fairy.
Yeah.
So, and it's also, I was pronouncing it fairy last week. It's fairy.
Like
It
actual
is-
fairy.
Like it's fairy.
She killed the fairy Andreas.
Yes.
That was
Andreas.
His name.
And he was actually a high fae.
Yeah.
Damn.
And now she's in Prithian. And like the first 7 chapters is her just trying to like figure out ways to like escape this place.
Well, okay, so she
I'm like, what are you doing? This
basically-
place is sick.
with the whole fact.
Yeah.
So with the whole Prithian and the Mortal Lands and the Wall, with the treaty, there's a law that if a mortal kills a high fae, maybe even a fairy, kills one, then they have to give a life.
Yeah.
And the life you can give, she could have given her dad or one of her sisters, but she obviously chose to go herself to save them. And so when we ended, when you know how we were talking about the cliffhanger at the end of chapter 3, how it was like this massive beast, and so it ends up being another high fae, and he's a fucking weapon, by the way. Tamlin.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, Tamlin actually wanted her because she killed the fairy.
He did want her.
Yeah.
But then she could have sent someone else.
Yeah, true.
But she goes, no, take me. And then she wakes up and she's thinking, she keeps on going, I don't know what I was thinking, but she's in this. It sounds beautiful.
It sounds amazing. Like, what are you picturing?
I'm picturing, so because of what my mind is thinking, so I'm picturing so you know in Lord of the Rings it's in The Hobbit.
I was thinking The Hobbit.
So you know in The Hobbit when they go to that elvish city and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's as beautiful as that, but it's not like a big castle type thing like that. It's more of a manor.
I'm thinking more grass.
Lots of. I just say it's more flat,
Gardens.
but I'm on equivalent as beautiful. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and then interestingly, the fairies Tamlin and we got introduced to Lucian.
Do you say Lucian in your head or Lucian?
I said Lucian.
Yeah, I said Lucian too.
Yeah, Lucian.
Yeah.
Are looking after Freyra now.
Well, Lucian originally goes, I want to gut this bitch.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to fucking gut you.
Killed my
but
mate.
I'm not allowed. Tamlin's not letting me.
Yeah, but Tamlin said this is where it ended. She just overheard their conversation, and Tamlin's dad killed heaps of mortals before.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to be like his dad.
Here's the thing, though. I think he did want to be like his dad until he met Feyre. Because Lucian's going, why are you veering off our path? And he goes, that was my dad's path. I will not be like him. And I think it's because of Feyre. Because he keeps on saying stuff like, you're not what I would have thought as a human.
Yeah. And he keeps like complimenting her, like, how'd you learn to hunt and shit? Like, you can't even fucking ride.
And he always is sounding like very impressed. He goes, so you just taught yourself to hunt?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I needed to survive. Don't you know what that's like?
Yeah.
You privileged.
It sort of sounded like...
Oh, no,
they
she
were
wants
flirting.
to fuck him. Yeah, she wants to fuck him. Here's the thing that's pissing me off with Feyre, right? Is she keeps on talking about, she's preferring to be friends with Lucian.
Yeah.
But she only wants to be friends with Lucian to get to Tamlin because she wants to try and get someone to convince Tamlin to let her go home. And he's like, no, there's a law.
Why does she want to go home, but they're looking after her family?
Insane. I keep on thinking that, but then at the same time, I'm thinking if I got taken, even if it was a nice place, it's like, oh, my family.
Fuck that.
They were fucked anyway.
They were annoying.
But he got her good with manipulation.
Yeah.
Because she ends up talking about how she feels as though she's not fulfilling her mother's promise anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, but you are.
Yeah, that was good.
By being here, you are, because your family is alive because of that.
They're provided for.
And I am taking care of them.
Yeah.
And also fairies can't lie. So they must be being taken care of. I want her to go try and find him, though. I'm keen as.
Yeah. All right. So what do we want next? Predictions? Or we actually have a few new, like, what would they be called? The Bog and the Puka.
Yeah. So the Puka tried to actually... Here's one thing, actually, I just want to say about Feyre and Tamlin. Is I just want Feyre to come out and admit that she wants to be railed by Tamlin.
Do you reckon that's what's going to happen?
Yes.
For some reason in my head, like, I'm picturing she's so small and these two are like giants.
See, I was picturing that too, but I think it's more... I've really tried to shift. They actually, because Tamlin's the only one that can shapeshift.
Yeah.
But then he could also, like, he could turn Lucian into a wolf or a fox or something if he wanted to. And the reason Andros was a wolf is because Tamlin turned him into a wolf.
Yeah.
So Tamlin he's like powerful as fuck. And so, but it's purely because Tamlin is the main character and he's the one that's kind of trying to get connected with Feyre, but she's like, go away. Yeah. But then every time she goes, he turned around and the muscles shown in his shirt. I was like, just say you want him to rail you.
Yeah, true.
What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know.
Hard to tell.
I don't think they're going to fuck.
I do.
I don't.
I think Feyre and Tamlin, I think that it's going to be a thing that
I feel like
they become a couple.
But mortals and fairies...
It will be frowned upon.
Yeah.
But they'll become a couple. But also, there's a point in the book where, in these chapters where, what does Lucian talk about? He's talking to Feyre, and it's when they run into the Bogue, which we'll touch on. But he starts talking to her and says...
I thought it was the Bog. Is the Bogue?
Bogue. It's probably whatever you want.
Yeah.
Bog. I'll say Bog. He says something... He's talking, and then he goes... he gets all like mysterious and goes... I can't say that. I can't have her know I'm telling you this or something. So I think there might be someone even higher up than Tamlin, and it's a woman. And there's in Prithian, Feyre said that she knows there is 7 high lords, and Tamlin's just a high fae or high fairy. I don't know.
Interesting. I think. Okay, here's my prediction. I think Tamlin and Feyre will not get together, but Tamlin will pick her over Lucian, and Lucian will go in his separate ways.
Oh, okay. Lucian's just going to get pissed.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
And then, like, way, way, way down the track, they'll fuck. But they're not going to fuck for ages. I think they're just going to be, like, BFFs who kind of admit their feelings for each other.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Really? You reckon there's just going to be a sexy scene?
I think there won't be a sexy scene for about 20 chapters. But I do think that we're going to start seeing Feyre admit that she just wants to get dicked down by Tamlin.
Okay.
She's going to keep talking about his muscles. She's going to keep talking about that golden hair and that piercing eye.
Yeah.
And she's going to
I hope she stops thinking of all these ideas to like run away and like kill someone. I'm like, you're not killing anyone.
I think she will. But I do think that she's going to go and try to find someone. There's different. So there's the Bogue and the Puka. We'll talk about them quickly. But there was one more. There's one more person, which is kind of like a really old person, or a really old fairy that has a lot of knowledge about the sickness that's on Prithian. Oh yeah, there's a sickness on Prithian. We forgot to say that.
That might be chapter 14.
Okay.
I haven't read that.
No, you did. You have. Yeah, you 100% have.
They just alluded to there's heaps of weird things going on his like manor.
Yeah, no, they talked about that. You must have just missed it because they definitely talked about that before chapter 13.
Okay.
But there's like a thing called like the Blight or something.
Right.
On Prithian, and the reason that their masks, all the high fae and the fairies have masks when they're in human form stuck to their face, is because back in the day they had a party because they're all immortal, they don't die.
Yeah.
Just back in the day they had a party, and the party was a masquerade party, and then that's when the sickness fell on Prithian, and one of the things that the sickness did was made it so these masks don't come off their face. Yeah.
It's kind of cool. This would be a sick movie.
Is it?
It's new. It's relatively...
Oh, is it relatively new?
I have no
If
idea.
this becomes a show, bro.
I have no idea.
I'm
It should
in
be a
that.
show, hey? Well, it's so successful.
I am in that if it's a show.
I was thinking when I was reading it, this would be so much better as a TV series.
Yeah, I would love to watch it as a
Yeah,
TV
it'd be
series.
sick. It's so intricate.
Yeah, but who's the Bogue?
The Bogue is you can't look at them. They
Yeah.
get in your head. And Tamlin's just killed one and hurt his hand.
Yeah, so when they're out hunting, Lucian and Feyre goes for a hunt with Lucian because it was actually Andreas's shift, but she killed Andreas.
Yeah.
And so she's out hunting, and then Lucian just goes, stop. Like, just look ahead and don't move your eyes.
Yeah.
And then she starts hearing these voices and this cold air around her and these voices. And then it finally goes away, and she goes, what was that? And he said it was a Bogue. If you were to have made eye contact or look, that's when it can turn into an actual being and kill you. And then he goes to dinner and says to Tamlin, like, oh, in the Westwoods there was a Bogue. And Tamlin gets all pissed and just goes and chases after it. And because Lucian says to Feyre earlier that they're unkillable, and then she goes to Lucian, well, where's Tamlin going? And he goes, he's going to kill the Bogue. And she was like, oh my God.
Well, Tamlin's
I
like
swear she had fanny flutters.
the strongest being she's ever seen.
Yeah, she
Ever.
says that after he kills the Bogue.
Yeah. And then the Puka came out at night and they trap you in your own desire. She started seeing her dad.
Yep.
And then she saw like her sisters, and then it just turned back into just like a bow, and then it was nothing.
And then, that's when Tamlin goes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And
Use your
she's
brain, you
like,
idiot.
He goes, use your brain, you idiot. Obviously they're not here.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you expect me to do? It was my dad and my sisters that you stole me from.
Your dad doesn't have a knee.
Just fuck me already. Jesus.
All right. And ranking for that chapter.
Hey, I was invested. I'm saying that range of chapters is a 7.
Oh, a 7. I was going to say 6.5.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Because I'm just expecting better. That's why I say 7.
I'm expecting a lot more to happen.
Yeah.
Because of all the comments on our videos, everyone's like, this is so good.
Yeah, people keep saying, you just wait.
Book 2. So I'm like, maybe my expectations are so high now because everyone's like, this is going to be so good.
Someone said book 2 is going to change our lives.
Yeah, and I'm just like, when's it going to happen? So
I don't know. I'm into it.
what chapter are we reading next?
Can we finish it?
Finish. Do you want to do 10 again or more?
15.
What if we
Is it
go?
too many? Is 15 too many?
We can go. We're up to chapter 13. What if we go
I'm
to
actually up to 14.
if we go to 30?
Okay. Yeah.
That's 17
Yeah,
chapters.
chapter 30.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chapter 30.
So you know what you need to do is actually definitely do the no phone on the weekend and then fucking read.
just
It gives you something to do.
read the whole
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah. Okay. Everybody, you heard that?
Chapter 30.
Chapter 30. You know what to do.
Welcome back to the Relatables Baddies Book Club.
Jake, we are up to chapter 30.
Yes.
We've been reading, haven't we?
Yes. Bro, we have been reading.
And I don't know where to start. I think the first thing to say is this book has turned up.
This book has... I didn't even know... my life has 180 flipped, and I'm a fantasy guy.
I wrote juicy. That's it.
That's all. It explains it so well.
Juice. It's like orange juice. And I'm just going back for more.
Legit.
It's so
freshly
good.
squeezed, full of pulp.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So much. Where do you want to start?
Okay, I think we just start from where we left off. So we left off where we were at from chapter 3 to 13, and now we've gone from 13 to 30.
Yeah, fuck.
There's so much information, bro. Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot to get through.
First of all, I'm obsessed still.
Yeah. You've always been obsessed.
And you?
And now I'm obsessed.
Yes.
Chapter 27 to 30 is like, okay, this is going to change my life.
Holy fuck, bro. Okay. We left off where Feyre, she catches the cereal.
Yeah.
I think the cereal, this is how you pronounce it basically. So she goes out. Lucian fucking tells her how to do it.
Sounds like so long ago now.
It sounds like a year ago, bro.
Yeah.
Because of the development, okay?
Yeah.
She goes, she catches the cereal, and he's kind of like this ugly fucking thing. Catches him in a snare, right? And so she's all shitting her pants and that. This thing could kill her, and for some reason it's just being nice. She starts asking questions.
What about how you have to catch it with like a chicken and shit?
Yeah.
That was weird.
She put like a dead chicken out,
Yeah.
and then... Yeah,
And they
I
can't
don't
run
know.
over water? I was
Yeah,
like,
so she needed a creek nearby, so if he somehow got loose, she could run to the creek and he can't get her. And I reckon that was a lie,
Yeah,
by
that
the
was
way.
weird, yeah.
But so she starts asking all these questions about the blight.
Yeah.
So you're up to date with the blight now, right?
yeah.
How it's just fucking shit up in there.
Yeah.
So she's asking questions because she actually really wants to know just to keep the mortal lands safe. And so she's out there asking questions, and then he's not really giving like definite answers. All he's saying is, and it goes crazy here, because at this point she's like, I'm with Tamlin, the High Fairy, blah, blah, blah. He goes, he's like, I sense you, I don't know. He knew she was there, and he's just like, all you need to know is you just need to stay with the High Lord.
Yeah.
And she goes, High Lord?
Yeah.
Tamlin's a what?
Yeah.
She goes, Tamlin's a fucking High Lord. She starts screaming.
When I was reading, I was like, what?
Say, bro. A couple of times I'm reading, I've been sitting up and I'm like, it's like I'm watching a show that's getting intense, and I'm sitting up and I start reading like that.
Like, did I read that right?
Yeah.
I normally read wrong. Like, what?
And so Tamlin is one of the 7 High Lords of Prithian, bro.
Yeah.
This motherfucker keeps coming out with surprises.
I know.
So from there, these shit starts happening from there where like she can hear something. She can hear like stuff in the forest and a big roar. And the cereal knows what's coming, and he's saying, you've got to let me go. And I don't remember what they were called. These beasts that...
It started with A. And I know, yeah, everyone knows. There was like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. There was like 3 or 4 of these things that she said were serpent-like.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, fuck, I can't. I'm not going to go look in the book and find them, but I'm sorry.
They were in the woods,
Yeah.
and they started chasing her.
Basically, they are from a different realm.
Yeah.
And they could tell that the cereal was there, and they could also probably smell her. And so they get there and they start like hissing and being like, blah, blah, blah. She's shitting her pants.
Yeah.
She stands behind the cereal, and they start coming. And then the cereal's begging. He's like, stay with the High Lord. You've got to let me go. Let me go. She shoots the snare, and apparently he just vanishes in the dust. And now she's just alone with these fucking things, and just hell breaks loose.
Yeah, she started running.
She starts running.
Yeah, she starts running.
She first of all kills one.
Yeah.
Beast, by the way.
Yeah.
Feyre's an animal. Kills one, starts
And
running.
they're like grabbing her and shit. She's
Yeah.
still running. Boom.
Yeah.
Still running, falling over and
Yeah,
shit.
she kills one, runs. They start going. They start laughing. They don't even
No,
care
and
about their
then
death.
Lucian was meant to be doing his rounds. And she's like, where is this man?
That is why she left.
Yeah.
Because Lucian did say, he mentioned if she screams or something that he'll be there.
Yeah.
And so in her head, she's going, oh, so she does
She's
scream.
like, if I keep running.
She screams.
Yeah.
Lucian doesn't come.
But you know who does come.
Getting flanked, bro. Getting flanked. Someone grabs her, turns around. She has a knife. She kills another one, and then shit's breaking loose. Though they've got her. They're about to kill her, and then she hears a fucking terrifying roar, and you'll never guess who it is.
Who is it?
Tamlin.
Yeah.
She goes, I saw those golden locks.
Yeah,
He
he's
comes in,
everywhere.
he tears them to shreds,
Literally.
bro. Shreds. And then basically she's just all fucked. Like they actually kind of fucked her up a bit.
Yeah.
And Tamlin tears them to shreds, and then they go back. And I kind of like forget. So timeline wise, right?
It went a little bit slower from then on.
It got slow.
Went really slow.
He saves her life.
They start really bonding from after this.
After that, they start to really bond.
Yeah, they start going out on like
And
picnics.
so, yes.
Um,
Because he says, "What were you doing out here?" And then she said, I think she admits to going to catch a cereal. And he says, "What did he tell you?" And she said, "Nothing. I never got that far."
Yeah.
And then they're at dinner, and
just came out.
and then at dinner, he says something, and she goes, "Okay, High Lord."
Yeah.
And he doesn't think that she knows yet that he's a High Lord, and he goes, didn't get anything from the cereal, huh?" And she's like, "Fuck, get closer to you, fucking big animal."
I love like the banter.
Dude, they have like the most flirtatious banter.
Shut up, you High Lord.
So, okay, basically, Feyre nearly dies. And then, okay, now they're a bit more friends now. She's in bed one night and she hears a screaming from outside coming in. And Tamlin carries in a fairy from a different realm.
Yeah.
And it's full, just losing blood.
Where's my wings?
And it keeps on
Where's
saying,
my wings?
"She took my wings." We hear this she again. Remember, there's a she in those other chapters we've read. There's a she. She took my wings. All he's saying is, "She took my wings. She took my wings." And gets put on the table. Lucian comes over. He vomits because he's a pussy. And then Feyre's there holding this fairy's hand. Tamlin's doing his best, but his magic can't heal him because of the blight. He used to be able to do it with ease, but now he can't heal these type of things, and it dies.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So from there, that was another major bonding moment between Tamlin and Feyre. And while the fairy's dying, they still think she hates fairies. And she's holding its hand up until it dies. And Tamlin, he walks her back up to her room, and she says like, he's like all upset, and he just goes like, "Feyre, I just gotta ask you one thing. Why did you hate fairies? Why did you do that?" And she just is like, "Oh, I would, if I was dying, I'd want someone to hold my hand." And so he's just like, all these things are happening that's making him just like love Feyre. Yeah. Just get obsessed with her, right? And he starts to like see himself in her. The way that she had to do all this stuff growing up, right? And then from there, I'm pretty sure she's finally coming to terms with the fact she's never leaving.
Yeah.
So she starts painting.
And she starts to come out of her skin,
Yes.
which Tamlin sees and starts to appreciate.
Yes.
She starts painting. Tamlin shows her like all that cool little like walkway of all the different type of fairy art and stuff. And then she's just doing her thing, painting all the fucking sex scenes she's going to have with Tamlin in the future.
Bro, she's fucking frothing it, right? And then, so there comes a point where they're out in the garden and Tamlin, he's got all these like crazy sixth senses, right? And he like growls and he says, "Hide, don't come out." She's in a bush, and Lucian and Tamlin are standing there, and just some figure appears and starts talking to them. And it's again talking about she. Like, she won't like this, she won't like that, she's blah, blah, blah. And Tamlin's like, "Leave us the fuck alone."
Yeah.
And it was called the Attor, the Attor, Attor or something like that. And he is, or they are from the night realm. And so basically after that, they didn't know, like that thing didn't see Feyre the human. And then from that, when does he release the glamour that was over her eyes, and now she
can see properly.
She sees Prithian for what it is, because she actually was just seeing. She thought that
they went to have a picnic, and then they're talking about the night sky, or he can make the water look like the night sky or something
like that. So yeah, he is starting to trust her more.
Yeah,
and they're at this picnic because they're all becoming really good friends. And she's just like falling in love, and he's falling in love, and Lucian's just there, just like kind of laughing at them, like, "You guys just need to fuck already." And then they're over at this pond having a picnic, and Lucian leaves, and Tamlin goes, "Oh, the willows are singing." And she goes, "You're off your head. Are you hallucinating?" And he's like, "No, seriously, like, you don't understand. I've been hiding this from you just so your mortal mind could understand, like, it wouldn't just explode." And she goes, "Show me." And he's like, "Us fairies, we don't give stuff out for free. Cheeky little kiss might get you something."
No, he said something like, "I got to get something back."
Yeah, I got to get something back. She's like, "What?
What do you want?"
And he goes, "A kiss."
Yeah.
I thought they were going to fuck that in there, bro.
So did I.
I thought we were done for. The way this book teases you and gets you so ready for them to smash.
And I was ready for it.
Same, bro.
Yeah, I was ready.
Because, oh my God. And then basically, he releases the glamour, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so then the next day she wakes up, and he's released the glamour on everything. And so she's wigging out because she wakes up, and usually
The slave Alice.
Alice is waking her up and getting her ready, but there's this bird lady with bark skin. She goes, "What's going on? Where's Alice?" And Alice is like, "Are you fucking joking? Shut up." And so she's realized that he's released like the glamour, and she
can
goes
see
through the
everything
halls.
for what it is.
She goes through the halls and there's fairies everywhere. She gets in the kitchen and she's wigging out.
Yeah.
Or into the dining room, and they're like, "What's up?" And she's like, "It's busy in here."
Yeah.
And Lucian laughs and he goes, "They've been here the whole time." 'Cause she thought it was an empty manor.
Yeah.
He's like, "They've been here the whole time." And so she goes, "So you mean when I followed the puka, he was like, 'Oh yeah, you had an audience.'" And she was like, and she was like, "Fuck, I'm an idiot."
Yeah.
So that's why Tamlin went out and got her.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, from there, where are we?
Can we jump? They hang out a bit more. Their connection gets really strong. Can we jump to
Fire Night.
Yeah.
We'll go to Fire Night.
Fire Night.
Okay.
Wait, is Fire Night the one where Tamlin told her not to come to? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fire
yeah.
Night's crazy.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, I've got to. I hate how she always disobeys him."
You know what? Same.
Yeah.
So do I.
He's always looking out for her, and she's like, "No, I've got to."
She
do it."
doesn't understand the volume of her fucking actions.
Yes.
Okay. He says she sees all these things being set up and she's like, "What's happening?" He says, "Tonight's Fire Night." He says, "And you're not invited."
Yeah, I
She
like
goes,
that. Dude.
Yeah. I was fucking roasting her. "And you're not invited." And so basically Fire Night comes to fruition. She's out in the halls after being told to stay in her room, and Tamlin's there in like kind of warrior gear.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of Fire Night, of what it is, he hasn't really told her yet, but he said there's this big tradition where they basically, he like gathers all the magic of the lands and disperses it or something like that, right? He doesn't say how it happens though. And so she doesn't really understand like the volume of this fucking night.
This is fucked.
And so it's insane.
Yeah.
And so he says to her, like, "Get back into your room, lock the doors, do not come out, do not let anyone in. There is fairies here from all these other places. I cannot keep you safe out there. Stay in your room." He runs off, looking majestic as ever, right?
Golden hair in the wind.
Yes,
Yeah.
bro. And so then she starts talking about she's in her room and the drums from the Fire Night just overcome her body. Like, do, 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 do. And they overcome her body. And she's talking and she's like, "I can't fucking stay in here. This bitch goes to Fire Night."
Yeah.
Insane.
She's hiding there.
So she's at Fire Night. She's like walking around and everyone's just like, you can tell they're all just like maggot. They're all drunk. Different types of fairies, some with masks, some without. So she knows that there's fairies from other realms because the spring realm, the spring court, was the only realm where the masks were, because they were having a masquerade party the night the blight hit. So she's there. She's getting knocked around. No one's really recognizing her. No one's seeing that she's not a fairy. But then she gets grabbed by this group of 3 fairies and she's shitting her pants. And they're talking about how much fun they're going to have with her when this is over. And she thinks they're talking about like dissecting her and killing her and all that stuff, right? And then next thing she knows, there's a figure behind her. And these 3 fairies, they're like shitting bricks. Turns around and she's like explaining that she sees the most handsome looking man she has ever seen in her life. He had this aura about him, wearing all black,
It's soft on the eyes.
black hair.
Yeah.
He was something to look at. And these other fairies, shit bricks.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, "What?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking to like, "Human, I haven't seen one of your kind in a while." And we don't know who this is yet.
No.
All right, we don't know who this is yet.
But we do.
We do now. Oh God, we do now. And then, and so then she's kind of wigging out, and he's kind of just being like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah. How'd you get here?
You know, you shouldn't be here."
Yeah. What's going on?
But if I think he kind of implies as well, like if you're here at the end, right? He's like, "Okay, stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay far away from here."
Yeah.
And so then she goes back into like, there's a big cave and the Fire Night's going on, the drums are going on, and she goes back, she disobeys this guy as well. And then she's in this line with all these fairies and something's about to happen, right? Across the fucking road, Lucian spots her.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I do think he's a beast, by the way, because this happens. And she goes, in the blink of an eye, he was behind her. Picks her up like she's nothing, runs back to the house, sits her down. He says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And explains what Fire Night is.
Yeah.
Tamlin gets juiced up by all the magic in the lands by the other fucking High Lords or some shit, runs into a cave and fucks some fairy. Has like sweet sex with another fairy. And he says, I have to get you out of there.
Broke
you have
my
to
heart.
stay here. This broke my heart as well. He said, I have to run back because of what he goes, I'm telling you right now, it's not the Tamlin you know when he's in this state. It is not the Tamlin you know. I have to run back right now because when he smells you, that you were there, he will look for you. And you do not want him to see you. So she goes back and then she's like in bed. She can't sleep. And then finally she hears something out in the hall. She goes out. Who is it? Tamlin.
And it sounded like he was drunk. It was like, we don't know the effects. It's sort of like something that depicts something in real life.
Yeah.
It's like a drunk guy coming back to his like girlfriend. He's like, why weren't you there?
He said, I smell you.
Yeah.
I was looking for you. The one I found, she wanted me to give it to her rough. But Feyre, you, I would have fucked you slow. I would have had you calling my name. This word for word what he said.
Yeah.
I would have had you calling my name.
Yeah.
And she's like sitting there, she's shuddering. And he has her pinned up against the wall. And he's like, don't disobey me again. She goes, don't tell me what to do. And he bites her neck.
Yes.
He bites her neck, bro. Oh, shit.
But I felt bad for her too. Because,
Same.
Because
Same.
he fucked someone else.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, Tamlin?
Yeah. And then the next morning she goes down and she thinks she's being all sassy. She was going to cover up the bruise that the bite
Nah,
left.
she was like, fuck it.
And then she goes, fuck it.
Yeah.
He did it. He can answer to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
She goes down and sits down.
Now, Lucian's
sits
just a little
right
tricky
across.
bastard, yeah.
Sits right across from Tamlin from Lucian where she doesn't usually sit.
yeah.
And then Lucian goes,
Ooh.
what's that? And she's like, ask your friend.
Yeah.
And Tamlin goes, if you disobey me, that's going to happen. And she was like, fuck. Bro, fucking crazy, okay? And so then... And then kind of she like hop, skip, and jumps straight away in like 4 sentences and goes, we apologize later, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We're friends again, whatever. And so then from there, we're going to skip up to solstice.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So solstice this is like maybe a month later or a couple weeks later. Solstice is the longest day of the year and they celebrate summer.
Big party.
Big party.
Massive
She
party.
is invited to this one.
Yes.
Everyone's having the greatest time ever. She starts drinking.
She lets her guards down.
Yes.
She drinks the fairy's wine.
She drinks
which
the fairy
Tamlin
wine.
told her
No,
not to.
Lucian was begging her not to.
Lucian was.
Okay, Lucian was begging her not to drink the fairy wine.
Yeah.
And then...
No, and then we'll go, she's drunk the wine and then Tamlin's playing that instrument.
Yes, he's playing an instrument.
And then she just like describes his forearms and then like moves up to his chest and his thing's unbuttoned. And she's like, she's high as fuck as well. And she's just getting like turned on,
she's
describing him as well. And he just doesn't give a fuck. She said something or said something like, oh, I'm sorry I drank the wine or something. And he just didn't even respond.
Lucian
Came
apologized for. He said, "I tried to stop her," and
Yeah.
he goes, "Lucian." He like waves him off.
Yeah, he
"Go
didn't
have
even say
fun."
anything, yeah.
He goes, "Go have fun,"
Yeah.
and then he's like, "I'll handle it.
Yeah.
I'll take care of her." And apparently they dance until the dawn, bro.
Oh.
And then you have to talk about what happened at dawn. Where were they and what happened?
This is the first proper sex scene me and Jake have ever experienced.
But they didn't have sex yet
Yeah.
in this scene. No, they just made out.
And then they have sex. No, they had sex. What?
I don't think they did.
Oh, I thought that was what I was alluding to.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Oh.
They made out hard though.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And she said that at the end of this chapter of them making out, she said that she had a tear in her eye and it's the happiest moment of her life while they watched the sunrise after this big night of partying. This is the first time they proper made out,
Yeah.
right? And so then it's kind of like all happy. And then they're eating lunch because they slept in that day until midday. They're eating lunch.
I thought they had
Lucian-
sex then too. Oh, and then
No.
the next one was the
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what
I
happens?
misinterpreted that.
What happens is they're eating lunch, and Tamlin growls because he senses something.
Yeah.
And then Lucian senses it, and he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Get Feyre
Hide.
to the curtain."
Yeah.
And then over to the curtain. She's like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Go now." She runs over to the curtain. Tamlin stands in front of her with his sword down, ready to fight. She said he's never seen him like this serious. So not Tamlin, Lucian's covering her. And then Tamlin, he sits down kind of like as if relaxed. He's alone. He's all alone. And she said she could tell that Lucian put a glamour over her so the person coming in couldn't see her. And then who the fuck strolls in?
The guy.
The guy that saved her on Fire
Fire
Night
Night.
from those 3 fairies. And she was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And then Tamlin goes, resend. What do you want?
Yeah. And he's like, I haven't seen you in 40 years.
49 years, Tamlin,
That's
and
all
you
you
call
have-
me that?
Yeah.
That's all I get?
Yeah.
Bro, this motherfucker's powerful. And
More
then
powerful
Lucian,
than all of them.
Lucian's got balls. He goes, what's Amarantha's whore doing?
Yeah.
We finally learn her name, who this she is.
Yeah, Amarantha. But we still don't have like any
really don't know
picture
much.
of what she is.
But we know who
she-
Rhysand is,
We know
right?
she's powerful. And Rhysand's there and he's like, did you get my gift?
Oh, we forgot to talk about that.
And it was the head. We forgot to mention that he left. There was just a random fairy head, was it?
Yeah, so there was a fairy head on a stake or
Yeah.
something.
And it was because like he knows the blight's back.
Well, he knows the blight's back, and what it was it was very fresh. And Tamlin says when they found it, this couldn't have been here more than a couple of hours. And the message that's being sent with that is, hey, I got through your security and out undetected. You fucking suck.
Yeah, literally.
And so he comes in and he goes, did you get my message? And Tamlin was like, yeah, not funny.
Yeah. Some deadhead.
He's like, yeah, not funny. And so up until this point, right, Tamlin is pure beast, pure animal. No one can even threaten him. Tamlin's shitting his fucking pants with this guy.
He's weak.
Full shit in his pants. I got the biggest ick from Tamlin from this, right? Because Rhysand's about to leave and he's talking about her again. He's talking about Amarantha, and I don't really know what she's going to do, but basically he's just going to be like, oh, they're going to keep on coming. I don't know what's happening yet. And then he's about to leave and he notices there's a table set for 3. And he goes, where's your guest? And then he looks over at Lucian and he goes, how dare you glamour me? Waves it off, sees Feyre, recognizes her, and he goes, thought I told you to stay far away. Bro, okay. And then basically he's like, what are you doing here? And Lucian says that this is my like girlfriend, the girl. And then he goes, oh, Lucian, I didn't expect you to, like, I thought you weren't over that one girl that you were in love with. I didn't expect you to go down to mortal filth or something. I don't know, whatever. Lucian used to have a girlfriend and got killed by his dad. Lucian's from the Autumn Court, guys. We're leaving shit out, but there's too much info.
Yeah, there's heaps of info.
Lucian used to be he's a High Lord, whatever. He was going to be. And then Tamlin gets up and he's like, Rhysand, leave. And he's like, please don't.
Don't tell Amarantha.
Because
Of Feyre.
Rhysand reads her mind. He reads Feyre's mind. He comes down to her. Lucian's like, get the way. And he goes, he just like swiped Lucian away like he was nothing.
Yeah.
Goes down and is like, she said that he's like reading her mind and like scraping a metal fucking fork on her brain or something is what it felt like. And she was wigging out. And he's like, Tamlin's like, Rhysand, stop, enough. And he goes, you don't even want to know the thoughts that she's having about you, Tamlin. Yeah. And then he like reads her mind and he realizes that it's Tamlin's missus. And he goes, I wonder what she would think about this, like Amarantha. And Tamlin fucking goes, please don't tell her. And he goes, beg me. Yeah. Tamlin gets down on his hands and knees.
We thought he was the best.
Puts his fucking face on the floor and says, please don't tell Amarantha, I'm begging you. This motherfucker got down and begged like a bitch. I'm upset about it, by the way.
I know. Because we thought he was the best. And then Rhysand leaves.
Yep.
Eventually.
Finally. And he goes, I'll think about it. I may tell her, I may not.
And this is sad, but also good.
Yeah, I'm pissed off about this.
So Tamlin goes, you've got to leave.
Yeah, he comes in the next morning.
It's not safe.
No, he comes in that night.
It's not safe here. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I've just come to terms that this is my forever place. Yeah. He's like, it's not safe for you here. And then he explains like how it's going to all work out. I've set up your family, la, la, la. And she's like, no, it can't happen.
Yeah. She's like, what about the treaty? And he says, I've taken it on for you. And if someone comes for me, then if they have a problem, they can take it up with me.
Yeah, yeah. And so, how do we explain this bit? The way it was written was so...
Guys,
nice.
Fuck it, I'm reading it. I know the page. I know everything about this. Page 247 is there. This is
247. He had that in his head. He's been reading that more than once.
Mate, you don't even want to know. I went and read this shit twice. All right, here we go. 247. He lunged. A beast freed of its tether. We were a tangle of limbs and teeth. I tore at his clothes until they were on the floor, then tore at his skin. Then I marked him down as his back, his arms. His claws were out, but devastatingly gentle on my hips as he slid down between my thighs and feasted on me, stopping only after I shuddered and fractured. I was moaning his name when he sheathed himself inside me in a powerful, slow thrust that had me splintering around him. We moved together, unending, and wild burning. And when I went over the edge the next time, he roared and went with me.
Oh, man. Oh.
And then she goes on to be like, and then we chilled for a bit, and then we just fucked again.
Yeah. We had like a passionate lovemaking session. No, we were relaxed. It was like an effortless lovemaking session. But then she wakes up and she's expecting like they're on good terms and everything. Like,
and she's gonna stay now. He's not gonna send her home.
Yeah, she's like,
he's sending her back. He's sending her back to her family.
Yeah, and she's like, no, we just had sex. Like, we're all good. Then he's just like, Tam's like, pack your things.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta go.
And she's like, what?
She's like, I got what I wanted.
Yeah,
it's fucked, bro.
And then she just like leaves, and I was like, what is?
She gets sent home, and he ends it. And you know what else he does? He sticks his head in the carriage and goes, "Don't forget, I love you."
Yeah,
as she's leaving.
That was fucked. It's another thing of like that's fucking depicting men in like they'll say I love you to everything.
This motherfucker.
I know it's gonna work out, but still, it's not the right thing to do.
And then she gets home, and her dad's just rich.
Yeah,
she gets back, and she's like,
"No, her sister's like, who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, they didn't recognize her because she wasn't so skinny anymore.
Yeah, we didn't touch on the fact that Freya's got even hotter.
Yeah, Feyre's got like super hot.
She described like you don't see my muscles anymore.
Yeah, like her family was under the impression that she was away looking after her aunt. She doesn't. They don't know that she was in Prithian.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's back now, and chapter ended with her just like kind of just have been back for about 3 days or something.
Yeah, she checked out the old crib. Yeah, was like, what was this shit all about?
Yeah,
now her family.
And she's also just rich. Like Tamlin sent her back with jewels.
Yeah. And then like her dad's counting it and shit. And Tamlin fixed her dad's knee.
Yeah, Tamlin fixed her dad's knee. Tamlin apparently he like set her dad up so well. You guys need to read this book. We can't give you all the details. We'll be here for 4 hours. But okay, that's what we're up to. Predictions. Mine's crazy. You go.
Okay. I actually have no direction. So what I thought was going to happen was they were going to have sex and then she wasn't going to leave. Like they were going to fight for each other for her to stay, but she's left already. So I think Prithian's going to go to shit. Like absolutely everything is going to take over. Amarantha's going to find out like everything and hate Tamlin, and then they're going to like fight, and the Blight's going to take over. Something's just going to go down there.
Yeah.
And Tamlin's going to need Feyre for something.
Okay.
But I don't know. But he needs a reason to come back and get her. But I don't know what that reason is.
Because he says to her that this is not the last time we will see each other. And he says, I love you. And he's going to figure it out. And she'll be back, right? That's yours?
Yeah, I reckon there's going to be something where that land's going to be fighting, and for some reason being a human is going to be a superpower that they can't see her or something. And she's going to become a beast.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. The whole purpose of him sending her home was so that the fairies from the Night Realm cannot find her. Okay? He says, have your wits about you because they will have spies. Okay? This is crazy and outlandish of me. I think, genuinely, because of the way she explained Rhysand the night that he saves her from those fairies at Fire Night.
You reckon she's going to fuck him?
I reckon love triangle, Rhysand and Feyre, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Bro,
Now you said that.
I think I see it.
It's got potential. It's got potential.
And I tell you what, I'm throwing my book if that happens. I'm throwing my book at a window if that happens.
Do you reckon Rhysand's going to come looking for her, and then she's going to be like, I fucking hate Tamlin now. And out of spite, she's going to fuck him.
So she's going to be mad at Tamlin for sending her. She's going to end up just fucking hating Tamlin for sending her away.
Yeah.
Rhysand's going to find her.
After this I love you bullshit, like that toxicity, I'm thinking that could happen. It's like, just remember I love you, and then leave. Like, fuck off.
And Tamlin's going to be jealous, and he's going to try and get her back. And bro, I see it. I just because of the way she explained what he looked like.
Yeah, why else would you do it? Why else would you explain that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just because she's obviously sexually attracted to him.
Yeah, 100%.
And he is Amarantha's whore. Yeah. So.
Oh, no, here we go. So she'll fuck Rhysand, and then Amarantha will find out. And then Amarantha will be like, she has to die.
But Rhysand's going to fall in love with her.
Yeah.
And he's going to try and save her. And Tamlin and Rhysand are going to have to work together to kill Amarantha to protect the one they love. And they're both doing it to win Feyre's love. And she has to choose. Holy shit, Oni!
This could be so right or so wrong. I like it.
I love it.
And then we're obviously going to find out Amarantha is going to be a fucking weapon.
Oh, bro, I don't even.
I reckon she's going to be a 10 too.
She has to be. She has to be, and she's going to be. Clearly, she is older than Prithian itself because the High Lords are supposed to be the most powerful, but she's more powerful. Because I don't think she's a High Lord. I think.
I imagine Rhysand's
I'm pretty sure Rhysand
is a fucking weapon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rhysand is the High Lord of the Night Realm, and she's higher up.
Yeah, why is Tamlin so weak? I thought he was going to be the best.
See, Tamlin was a fucking. I hate Tamlin.
Yeah.
Lucian, love.
Yeah.
Lucian, love him.
Yeah, Lucian.
Tamlin, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like, just fucking tell the truth from the start.
Maybe going back to the start of the episode, true.
Yeah. Maybe it is.
So,
Guys, that was fucked.
next chapter we are going to read together.
Oh yeah, where are we gonna go to? Because we
How many chapters are in the book?
there's 45 and we did 15 last time. Should we end it?
Shit, this went way quicker than I thought.
So chapter 30 and the last chapter is chapter 45 because then it goes to acknowledgements.
Okay. Shit,
Yeah,
there's a
it goes
lot of
to
acknowledgements.
So that's the finish.
Do you reckon that's too much? Because that recap just took a fucking half an hour.
Let's do 7.
Yeah, 7 half.
7 chapters.
7 chapters.
Because the recap took a long time.
Yeah.
So
much
7
happened.
chapters. So the recap next time doesn't take as long. And then it's 2 more episodes. And then we're on to the next fucking book.
Fuck already. Man, life-changing. Life-changing.
We've been told the next book's better.
Yeah. Mate, this is the first time it's picked up and everyone's like, wait till it gets to the end. I'm like, okay, I've waited long enough and it happened.
Also, here's one thing I noticed. So on the comments of our last video on Instagram of the book update, right? People, I think I said something like, I just want Farah to admit she just wants to get railed by Tamlin. And someone commented like, oh, just you wait. Like, because you said, oh, you think there's going to be some sexy scenes. And then someone else commented like, sexy scenes, understatement, okay? The first sex scene we've read, it was good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was good.
But I'm expecting way fucking more from those
I
comments
was expecting like a full chapter of sex.
I was expecting a full chapter. Yes, same. I expected one full chapter to be a sex session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Like, all these smut books, I genuinely thought it was all just sex. The storyline is crazy.
Well, this isn't really smart. This is like sexy scenes.
Okay.
That's what we've been told.
I love this.
Yeah. This is like...
This is fantasy.
Yeah. Fantasy with a little bit of sexiness in it. Whereas like we don't even know what that world is like.
Holy
man.
shit.
That's probably down the track when we've got some experience.
Yeah.
We're like losing our virginity. Our book virginity.
Fucking oath.
Our fantasy
Did it make you horny at all?
I was thinking, so a lot of comments are girls read books for porn and guys watch porn. And I was like, this is quite nice. I feel quite like, I don't know how to describe the feeling when I'm reading a sexy scene because I'm not getting a boner.
No, I wasn't getting a boner, but I was picturing it. Like when she said something, she goes like, I straddled him. Like
I
over
feel
his
sexy.
hips. Like it just felt sexy.
And when guys wank, like I don't feel sexy.
No.
I feel quite gross.
Like it felt like reading it felt good.
I feel like this is nice.
Yeah.
This is cool.
It was fun. Yeah, I fuck crazy. I liked it. I didn't think I'd ever read this shit. I love it.
Yeah, it's an insight into a world we didn't even like realize.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We and not that I dislike giving them long episodes, but sorry guys, we got to fucking work on this.
Mate, we might have to do a whole fucking special episode
to finish it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
shit. Or we can make like a whole new episode just for Baddies Book Club.
Oh my god.
Maybe we should do that.
Just an extra episode every week.
Like it's just us, like no structure, just talking about the book.
Chapters 30 to 37.
Jake.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Relatables Baddies Book Club.
Oh, I'm excited but sad.
Yeah.
We're getting to the end of the book.
Yeah, we are coming to an end. I'm glad there's so many books in this series because...
Yeah, same. It's gone quick. I'll hand you this back because you will need it. But to start, do you want to talk about new thoughts and feelings of how are you feeling after reading those 6 chapters?
How do I feel after reading these chapters? Okay. It's a good question. I think I'm feeling I am happy with where it went, but I'm just way more curious because of where we forced ourselves to stop.
Yeah, I
Very
wanted to
curious.
say apologies. A lot of the comments said, do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately how we've like done this is we're pre-recording obviously. So like we see the comments like post.
Yeah, like we record. So the day that we're recording this comes out 6 days from the day we're recording it, basically. Yeah.
But it's worked out well. How I'm feeling, I feel like I've been lied to my whole life.
Damn, bro. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we found out some shit. I'm not going to lie. We found out some shit and holy, it's all coming back to me.
Yeah. The start of that chapter, like, so the start's like, we can probably miss, she's like back in her village and her family hates her. Pause. Her family was shit.
Yeah,
they don't even care.
I actually, my actual genuine feelings are I feel slightly anxious.
Anxious.
I'm a little anxious.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I am with it.
Where we stopped kind of worked out well because she just survived.
Yeah, okay. I got like good notes.
Let's go through the chapters, okay?
So I've just got like a sentence really about what each chapter was about.
Yeah.
Chapter 30, we ended off at chapter 29. She's gone. Tamlin has sent her home. Okay? Because of all the shit that's going down. And then she gets home. There's nothing like really crazy happens, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Nesta, her older sister, she calls Feyre out and goes, where have you been this whole time? And Feyre's like, what do you mean? And Nesta goes, there's no aunt, whatever her fucking name was, made up name was. And she's like, what do you mean? And then Nesta goes, that magic didn't work on me. Tamlin's glamour worked on Elaine and the dad, but it didn't work on Nesta.
She thought she was going crazy.
And so she thought she was going crazy, and Nesta just chucks this like shard of wood from a table that Tamlin must have ripped off with one of his claws on the night he initially came and took Feyre.
Yeah.
Right? And so Feyre goes, shit. And Nesta says, tell me everything. And so now Feyre tells her literally every detail, obviously.
Yeah. I thought, that was good, but also when she got back to her family and like they were rich now and they didn't really care and they were talking about like trade and like new houses and stuff, and I was like, this is just boring.
I know, her family's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I won't lie, her family is boring.
But that sister going and she went to go look for the aunt's place, but she knew she was just going after her. And
she hired the mercenary.
Yeah, and she went on the wall for like 3 days or something.
Couldn't find anything. And she went in the dead of winter.
That was quite nice.
Yeah, I will say, of all the family members, Nesta is the best, even though she's the bitchiest.
Yeah. That made you feel a little bit good, a bit better. But otherwise, continue.
Yeah, so then to chapter 31.
Yeah.
Feyre learns of a house nearby that burned down where the whole family was in it. Servants, everything, except one of the daughters was never found, right? And the daughter that was never found goes by the name of Claire Bedor. And we didn't mention this, right?
We forgot to.
But that makes it good.
Yeah.
Is when Rhysand was in the dinner hall or whatever, where when she was still in the Spring Court, he was like, "What's your name?" And off the top of her head, she said, I can't tell him my real name because he's going to go look for my family because he's going to ask for my last name as well. So she said that her name is Claire Bedor.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he believes it. And so then she's home for a couple of days, finds out about the house burning down, and she goes, oh, whose house? And they go, oh, it was the Bedor's family. And she goes, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
They were going to go fucking kill her whole family.
Yeah, and when I read that, I was like, yes.
I know.
I was like, genius. And then she felt bad.
Well, yeah, you would feel terrible. You got a whole family killed.
But she saved her family. I was like, better theirs than hers.
You would still feel terrible, but you would still think that it was the right thing to do for your family.
Yeah. I was like, genius. And then she's like, oh, groveling and shit. And I was like, oh, what can you do?
And so she's like, shit. And so, but because of that, and because she is now like, oh, you know, Amarantha and her fucking little gremlins and Rhysand and shit, they're game enough to come on this side of the wall and do that.
Yeah.
Something must have happened in the Spring Court. And she tells she tells Nesta, and Nesta goes like, fuck. And basically Feyre says, I'm going.
Yeah.
She was home for 2 chapters and then she just goes back.
Yeah. It was like hop, skip, and a jump. Didn't she tell her whole family what happened? There's no auntie.
She told her whole family what happened, and as she was telling them, it's almost like getting the truth made the glamour go away, and then they remembered everything and they were horrified and they were scared. And her dad is such a fucking baby, bro.
Yeah. Oh. And they're all like, oh, go do it. Like, didn't he say, was it the sister or the dad that said, like, we don't need you here anymore?
Nesta said that.
And then she, like, was delusionally telling herself, like, that made her feel better about it. But I was like, no.
Yeah. Nesta goes, Father told you last time not to come back. I'm telling you again, we don't need you here. We can take care of ourselves. Don't come back, Feyre. And then Feyre goes underneath it delusionally.
Yeah.
It wasn't an insult. I was like, what? That was the fucking biggest insult I've ever fucking heard, bro. I need to stop swearing. I just can't.
Whatever makes you sleep at night. I was like, that's so mean. We don't need you.
Oh, man. And then, so she goes back.
Yeah.
Chapter 32.
This is where it gets good.
Yeah. She goes back to Tamlin's Manor. She finds a hole in the wall. She's there for like 2 days or something.
Yeah.
And she goes through the hole in the wall. And she goes back to the manor. And everyone's gone. It looks like, she says it looks like a fight has taken place, but it doesn't look like it was an army against an army. It looks, she said it looked like it was most likely Tamlin versus Rhysand.
Bit of a scuffle.
And there's no bodies anywhere.
Yeah.
So she was like, they can't be dead. I can't see any bodies. And then in the house, she runs into Alice, her old servant friend. And basically, she just gets Alice to tell her everything. And we should mention, before she finds Alice, she's saying she's going to tell Tamlin that she's realized she's in love with him. Yes. Okay. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
And then here's where the law drops.
Yes.
All right. Mouthful and a half. I need to take a sip of my drink because holy moly.
I actually got sad reading.
Same.
Everything Alice was saying, I was like, are you kidding me?
I was sad as well.
Yeah.
So she goes back. She finds Alice. She's going back to tell Tamlin how she feels. Because he finishes it off with, I love you. And again, semi-manipulative from him, guys. But
Tamlin is just manipulative to a core.
Yeah, he's fucked. Yeah. Okay, so she goes back. She goes to tell, and so Alice starts telling her where they've gone. Basically, how do you tell us in the right timeline? So Amarantha has taken the whole Spring Court.
Yes.
Okay? Reason being is... Amarantha is the High Queen of Prythian. She has been for about 50 years. She's been in Prythian for a lot longer because she was the King of Highburn, which is just another country about over the water. The King of Highburn's highest up general in his war against the mortals, right? And she was a nasty mother trucker. She had a sister named Clythia. Clythia fell in love with a human that was the leader of the humans fighting against Amarantha and King Highburn, right? And Jurian was using Clythia, and Clythia's sister Amarantha knew this, but she couldn't bring herself to kill Jurian because she didn't want to hurt her sister. Jurian gets what he needs from Clythia, and then he tortures her and kills her using ash wood, because we all know that is how humans can kill fairies. And Amarantha really just like breaks down, shows her wrath. Apparently it could be home for the heavens or some shit. I don't know. Amarantha is a crazy bitch. And so what she does is finally Amarantha and Jurian go head to head, and she slays Jurian, but then higher up people get involved and set the treaty. And so Amarantha, like that part of the story randomly, I guess, is just a good reason for Amarantha to hate humans, because it kind of isn't super valid. But basically Tamlin's family from the Spring Court have really close ties with Highburn, the country. And Tamlin's elder, like his father and that, they all, like, and King Highburn and Amarantha, they all hated humans. And Tamlin is probably the first one of his fucking bloodline to actually not hate humans and just like hate slavery. So from when he was young, him and Amarantha actually knew each other really well before the war, because they're super old, because the Spring Court had close ties to Highburn, and she's Highburn's highest general, and she has eyes for Tamlin. She loves Tamlin. And so basically when the war's over, she comes back to Prythian and starts to swindle and trick all of the High Lords of Prythian, all the 7 High Lords of Prythian. They're like, we don't want you here. And she's going, no, my sister's death has changed me. I've come to prove to you that I have changed, and I don't hate humans, and I want to live here, and I want to help for everything that I've done. Yeah. For like ruining your lands. And so basically what she does...
How long was she doing that for?
A long time.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, a long time. And what she was actually secretly doing was gathering power. And one of the ways that she got all the 7 High Lords to agree to letting her stay there was that she said she will open up trade routes from Highburn, because I think he's richer than all the 7 High Lords of Prythian. He opened up trade routes. And with those trade routes, she was sneaking in her own troops without Highburn even knowing. And basically, still with all of that, she couldn't beat the 7 High Lords of Prithian because of how fucking strong their magic was. Like, apparently Tamlin used to be an animal. And so what she did one night was she invited all of them to her court, which is the court under the mountain. And she somehow used an old spell of King Highburn's and put it into a drink, gave it to all of the 7 High Lords who thought they were just going for a party, and she using that spell stripped them of their power, leaving them to their most basest elements, which Tamlin's still a beast, but he used to be even way more. And so she's taken all their power, and in turn, she actually has become what is known as the Blight. Like, Amarantha put this spell on them.
Well, basically, the Blight's not real.
Amarantha is the Blight.
Yeah.
But the reason that they were calling it the Blight to Feyre is because the spell makes it so they can't actually talk about what's happened, right? Because she wants Tamlin, and he says, no, you're disgusting. I don't want to go near you. So she takes all their power, and she says, ha, 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 Tamlin, you have 7 times 7 years to break this curse, and then I'm coming to get you. And 49 years to someone that's a fairy is nothing. And so basically, the way to break the curse, Tamlin has 49 years to do it, is because of how much Amarantha hates the humans and the humans hate Amarantha, she made it impossible for him to break the curse. And the way to break the curse was he has to send over a fairy from his court and let it be slain by a human that hates fairies with a passion. He has to bring the human back, make it fall in love with him, and then if that human is to then hate fairies but then fall in love with Tamlin and then love fairies and say, I love you, the curse will be broken, masks come off, and everyone gets their power back. So, he was doing that for years and years and years. Failure, just sending off people to be killed, turning a fairy into a wolf, sending it off to be killed. And then he has about a year left. It's the 48th year or 49th year left with it's the 49th year with 3 months left or something. And he just has one more crack at it because he does not want to be Amarantha's bitch. And so he sends Andreas over, who he has said is his best mate, actually wasn't. He was sending him to be butchered. And Feyre kills him. That's the wolf that Feyre kills at the start of the book. Yeah. And then Tamlin's like, I got my fucking meat. Let's go. Brings her in, makes her fall in love with him, and then says, I love you. And the reason that he stuck his head in the carriage at the end that one last time to say, remember, Feyre, I love you, is because if she was to have said it back, everything would have been happy days. His mask would have fallen off.
I don't reckon it would have happened. The way we're finding out
how Amarantha works,
I feel like it was all just one sort of play.
Yeah.
But that's why they were doing everything. So basically, Tamlin's been lying to her the whole time.
The whole time. Hey, Feyre hears all this from Alice.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even care. She still was just like, I love Tamlin.
Yeah, which I was like, he's had ulterior motives to loving you. Does he actually love you, or does he just want to get rid of this curse?
It's the most insane lore I've ever heard. I dropped my book.
Yeah, but now we're finding out about how Amarantha operates. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But then at that point, I was like, fucking hell, Fred.
Okay, so basically that was some lore that everyone needed to hear.
Yeah.
And then she says to Alice, I need to go get him. And Alice goes, no. She kind of has an argument.
It's a death sentence.
And then one last time. And here's what, you know what I think about this? I think Alice was saying no to taking her to the court under the mountain to save Tamlin and Lucien for a reason. The reason she was saying that is to say, she said to her, no, it's a death sentence, you'll die. And then Feyre still goes, I don't care, I want to go, take me. She goes, no, you are going to die. She was testing to see how much she actually loves Tamlin.
Right.
Because I do think that the love can still save him. Even after what we've heard, even after what we've read, I do think the love can still save him.
Okay.
So she ends up taking her, takes her to this cave, which is a shortcut.
Yep.
And she says a couple of rules. Do you remember them?
It was listen carefully.
Yeah, just listen carefully. Don't make deals with anyone don't make a deal with anyone unless your life depends on it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Just basically. Oh, and she said one more thing. She said, there is a part of Amarantha's curse that still doesn't let me tell you certain things about the curse, and it's obviously for a reason. So keep your ears open, because that's why I think her love for Tamlin can still
Oh, because the
You know what I
curse
mean?
is still sort of
Because
operating.
there's a loophole in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so she tells her all that. Feyre enters, chapter 33, Feyre enters the cave, and not long in, she has arms around her arms, and she's like, holy shit, what's that? She turns around, it's the Ator.
Yep.
Chapter 34, Feyre gets taken to the throne room.
Yeah.
We finally meet Amarantha. Tamlin is sitting next to Amarantha. I think he's drugged or some shit.
Oh, yeah, he is 100%.
Yeah,
He's high as fuck.
he's fucked up.
I love what she said when she saw him. She goes, she's not as beautiful as I thought.
Yo, she did say that too.
She's ugly.
Yeah, she's not of the beauty that I expected or something like that. Oh, bro.
And I was just like, you cheeky bitch.
Yeah, she's like, you don't threaten me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Tamlin's going to choose me. That's what she's thinking in her head. Okay.
Yeah.
And when she enters the throne room, so she sees that Tamlin's there. She's like, holy shit. And then Amarantha's like, well, what do we have here? Ador's like, a human, whatever. And then she turns around behind her, who's hanging there, dead and tortured, Claire Bedwar.
Yeah.
She's like, holy shit. And then she feels guilty again. And then she's talking to Amarantha, and she's saying, well, why are you here? And basically, she doesn't really know what to say. And finally, she says, I'm here to claim the one I love, thinking that that's going to break the curse.
Yeah.
And she's like, the one you love. And she's like, the High Lord of the...
Tamlin, you've been busy.
Yeah, the High Lord of the Spring Court. And she's like, Tamlin. And Marantha's like, bitch, Tamlin, what are you doing out here, fucking humans, you dirty dog? What are you doing out here? And Tamlin goes, what does Tamlin say? He says, like, oh, this has to be a joke.
I've never seen it before.
Rhysand's playing a joke. Like, he's trying to protect Feyre still. Like, Rhysand's playing a joke.
Even though he's high.
Yeah,
Still trying to protect her. Maybe the love is real.
Yeah, and so here we go, right? Chapter 35.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No. Sorry.
Yeah, we got the...
In chapter 34, she's talking that she says, I'm here to claim the one I love. And then Amarantha, because she's so powerful and gets so bored, she goes, well, things have been boring here since I tortured your friend Claire here. All right. And so she says, how about this? You can have the one you love and the Spring Court can be free if you do my trials. 3 trials over 3 months. Every single time there's a full moon, you do a trial.
Yes.
And Feyre's like, shit, Alice said don't make deals. And then she goes, okay. And she's thinking about it. And then Amarantha goes, and I'm going to make it even more interesting. I'm going to give you a riddle. If you can solve this riddle at any point in the 3 months that you are here doing the trials, everyone can be let go, masks off, Tamlin's yours, magic restored to the lands, to the High Lords, immediately. And that word means something because she was like, immediately. She says, deal. And then she gets beat up.
Oh, yeah.
She makes a deal with Amarantha, and then and then Amarantha goes,
woke up in the...
Amarantha's like, okay, let's give her a warm welcome to the Midnight Court. She just gets beat up by like 4 fairies. Like proper beat up.
And it was like
nose.
quick like that. What did you think the answer to the riddle was?
I've got the riddle. I'm going to read it.
I thought... Oh.
I know. Here we go. I'm going to tell you what I think my answer is because I think I know the answer.
So do I.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm going to read it quickly. It's a fucking confusing though.
I thought the ending of it gave it away.
This is the riddle, guys. There are those who seek me a lifetime, but never we meet. And those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless all those who are brave enough to dare. By large, my ministrations are soft-handed and sweet, but scorned, I become a difficult beast to defeat. For though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow.
Oh, I thought the answer was Amarantha.
I thought the answer was Tamlin.
I thought it's Amarantha.
Okay. So she's doing a riddle about herself.
That's what I thought.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
Shit, for some reason, I just was like, it's got to be the answer's Tamlin.
But
I don't know why.
Tamlin doesn't kill slow. But she does.
I think there's things we don't know about him, though.
But she's trying to kill Freya slow. That's what gave it away, I thought.
No, you're right.
But that's it. When I went in, I was like, that's fucking her, bitch. Like, just say it.
It is, you're right. So it could just be that the riddle is her.
But also, I think it's a curveball, and it's going to be something we haven't even like met yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the riddle. Then she gets Yes, Feyre gets taken back to her cell,
Yeah.
wakes up all bloody, broken nose, basically, and then Lucian
Lucian-
sneaks in.
Yeah, tries to fix her nose, but can't make it look too obvious.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so she actually gets so she goes to the cell after making the deal, and then comes back a few days later, and that's when she gets the riddle.
Yeah.
And then, but before she gets the riddle, Amarantha realizes she doesn't know Feyre's name because she thought it was Claire Bedore, right? And this is why I think that my last week's prediction is running slightly true.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because she brings Feyre up and she's like, well, what is your name? It's only fair because you know mine. She's silent. And then she says to Rhysand, like, Rhysand, come here. He looks, she's like, you know, she gave you the name Claire Bedore and you went and got Claire Bedore and told me that's the girl that you saw.
Yeah.
But look at this one right here. Is this not the girl that you saw at Tamlin's Manor?
Yeah.
And Rhysand goes, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to humans. But he has seen her twice. He saved her once at Fire Night, looked her dead in the eyes and dead in the face at Tamlin's Manor. And he's a fairy. He's a fucking beast. He doesn't forget faces, right? Just because she's human. I reckon he's trying to protect her from Amarantha.
That went over my head, to be honest. I just thought he was like a selfish prick who didn't care.
No, I think he wants to fuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think he
That's
does.
a good pickup, though. That's a
Yeah.
great pickup.
And so, basically that happened. And then she like threatens to kill Lucian or something. So she gives her a name.
Yeah.
And then chapter 36 is she does the first trial.
Yeah.
And it's just like
A massive worm
Yeah.
with like a mouth with heaps of fangs and teeth. And then there's like poo and mud on the ground.
She's just like thrust into this big pit with a worm.
Yeah.
And then it's like a maze kind of. And she has to, Amarantha goes, I've been doing some research on you. Apparently you're a huntress. She's like, hunt this. She's like, what do you mean? I'm being hunted by it. Like, it wants to eat me. And then the other reason I think that Rhysand likes Feyre is because here's how halfway through the fight with the worm, she realizes it's blind. And so then she also realizes it's relying on smell and smelling her human flesh, right?
Do you reckon what he says?
And so she puts all the mud
Yeah.
and worm feces all over her because that's going to make her invisible. And one of the fairies watching, like a bunch of fairies are watching this because they don't care about Feyre. They want her to die. They're cheering and they're like, ew, what's she doing? And Rhysand goes, she's making herself invisible. And he's like impressed, right? And so I was like, okay.
I still was taking it as like
Okay.
he didn't give a fuck. Like,
He's
yeah, like she's obviously that's what she's doing.
yeah.
Like,
And then
obviously.
she goes and she kills the worm.
Yeah.
Passes the first trial.
Yeah.
She gets taken back up to the Amarantha's feet, and she was like, oh, like I don't know, must have said well done or something. And then she goes, everyone in my court lost a lot of money on you tonight because they were making bets on her life. A lot of people bet that you weren't going to last 30 seconds. Some said you'd last 5 minutes. Every single person, or like every single fairy in my court, apart from one, bet on you dying. And then the chapter ended. And it's obvious that Rhysand was the only one that bet on her not dying.
I thought it was Lucian.
No, Lucian's not part of her court.
Oh, he
Lucian's
can't.
part of the spring court. So part of her under the mountain court.
I thought it was just everyone there. Okay.
Yeah, so and Rhysand is actually a high lord of the night court,
yeah.
but he is basically Amarantha's bitch. He is a member of the fucking under the mountain court, and she says every single fairy in my court bet on you dying except for one, and then it ended, and it's obviously Rhysand.
Okay, I hear you.
What do you think?
It's a good pickup. Oh, when I was reading that, I just assumed it was Lucian because I thought, didn't Lucian come from her court?
No, he's from the Autumn Court.
I don't know. That just went over my head. But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to find out in
Very
37
soon.
that it's Lucian.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's recent.
Rhysand, yeah.
Okay. So we have to finish the book.
Yeah. I'm going to finish it tonight, bro.
But we have predictions, final predictions, and kind of lucky we only did 7 chapters then.
We did 15 chapters last week and spoke for the same amount of time.
Yeah.
We did 7 chapters the week just gone now, and we spoke for the same amount of time.
I'm loving your recap ability. I couldn't do it as good as you. I do remember.
I was editing the clip for last week's, and I was like, I did the talking. I felt bad.
Well, what about? I don't care. What about whenever you watch a TV show or anything like that, you and Star Wars or you and anything, the background like story, you really get invested in. It's like in your blood, which I really like. Yeah. And I normally ask you for questions, and you just see things in, I don't know, care a lot more than me. So it's good for you to recap. And
I love
popping in and out. I like it.
Yeah, my brain runs with shit.
It's really you, so I like it. I think it comes across as a good listen.
All right, if everyone doesn't mind me taking these over, then I don't mind doing it. But I do feel bad. I was like, fuck, I need to let Ollie talk next time.
I don't care. But predictions. How does it end? So she's obviously got 2 more trials left.
Okay, Feyre obviously stays alive because one thing that's been spoiled for us is that we know her character development gets good in the next book. So that's obvious.
Yeah. Okay. She's going to become a queen somehow.
Whoa, Ollie, what?
Yeah, she is. And I'm definitely not saying that because I read the comments and someone said something about her being her queen. And I was
Yeah.
But I don't know how. And I don't know how she's going to win. Does she win Tamlin back? That's the question.
Okay.
You think there's going to be some fucking threesome going on?
No, I think there's a love triangle. But also, you know what I actually do think?
But Rhaenys is Amarantha's bitch, and you think she's going to choose Feyre over her?
I think the only reason Rhysand is Amarantha's bitch is because he's scared and likes having freedom. Because he's one of the High Lords.
Wait, here you go.
His power stripped.
Here you go.
But I think she must be giving him a little bit more power.
Okay, so Freya's going to realize that Tamlin's love has been a lie and he's been doing it for the wrong reasons, but she's still going to want to save him because he's a good bloke. And then she's going to save him, beat the challengers, but then she's going to fall in love with Rhysand and they're going to betray Amarantha somehow and she's going to become queen of something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. With the Night Court with
Rhysand.
The High Lord. With the High Lord and Rhysand. Wow. Okay. For some reason, I think Tamlin dies.
You reckon?
No,
but
maybe not though.
I reckon they save him. And like he's just like a part of the story.
Yeah, I also do genuinely believe that he is going to become a side character.
Yeah, so do I. But does Amarantha die? Like, or does her power get stripped like she's stripped from the other High Lords?
Yeah, so she stripped the power, but part of the curse was she's not allowed to use it.
Why they told the riddle for some reason. Like that's going to play a part in something.
Oh, the riddle's going to click soon, and I can't think of it.
Neither. So the riddle, I don't know. And also the fact of like the wording of the challenges is going to play a part somehow. And I think, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. I think the book is going to end with she's going to do one more challenge. She's going to be in her cell and have some sort of conversation with Rhysand. She's going to save Tamlin, but she's going to realize that he lied to her, basically using her to save himself. And I think that the book is going to end with us. You know, the book's going to end with a twist, but...
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is there actually not going to be like a proper ending? Are we thinking there's going to be an ending and there's just not? Like, because there's so many more books. Is it just going to be like...
Yeah, like...
She's got the last challenge to do, the third challenge.
It's a great point. Yeah, no, I actually don't know. Maybe we just need to fuck it and read it.
Yeah.
I still genuinely believe Rhysand and Feyre are going to get together.
You've sold me on it with all your pickups, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think what I said is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
No, you said...
She's going to realize that Tamlin's love wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then Rhysand's going to try and like fall in love with her. Yeah. And then those two are going to beat Amarantha and she's going to become the queen of something.
Okay. I love it. No, I like that. Rhysand's going to give Feyre power.
Yeah. Do you reckon she's going to become a fairy?
That would be hectic.
Imagine she becomes a fairy.
I would love that.
Oh.
Tamlin's going to be jealous.
Mate, Tamlin's not going to even exist anymore. But I want Lucian to do something cool too. In there, we didn't say anything.
I love Lucian. I'm not gonna lie, I love Lucian.
Why has she not killed him? Like, why is he just floating around?
She gave Lucian. She still wants. Like, Tamlin is refusing to be Amarantha's lover.
Yeah.
And one of the things to try and coax him into doing it was giving Lucian some of his power back because Lucian used to have power, and he's a high fae. And she gave some of his power back. That's why he could heal Feyre a little bit from her broken nose. And yeah, still, I just think that she just doesn't see him as a threat at all. You know what I mean?
Maybe he plays a big part because no one sees him as a threat.
That would really, I would love that.
Imagine she fucks Lucian instead of Rhysand.
Honestly, that'd be kind of
Yeah,
hectic.
that'd be a pretty cool way.
Chapters 37 to the end.
This is exciting, Jake.
The finale.
The big finale. And so much has happened.
Yeah, so this is its own episode. So we won't feel the need to
Be rushed.
do any rushing. I've even gone with some more in-depth notes. I'll explain how I did it. But first, we need to preface, thank you everybody for coming to the book club.
Yeah, the support. And we read the comments and we saw a lot of people saying, special for the finale.
Yes.
Special.
Thank you guys all for joining us in the book club if you're reading along. And I will say, the Instagram, the channel that we have on our Instagram, if you go on our Instagram, you can see there's a Baddies Book Club channel. If you go on there, join the channel. I think there's about 3,000 baddies in there right now. So I know we can get that up higher because we're done ACOTAR now. We can still do some posting in there, but once we start the next book, which we will order on this episode, right before your eyes, but we found out today that you guys can reply.
Yeah, we didn't
to
know
like
that.
each individual message we send, and you can like even reply to other baddies. So like there can be conversations had in there. We always thought it was just we message, you react, but opposite, which is great.
And with this new episode, this is the start of new things, Jake.
Start of new things.
Yeah, we're excited to announce that Friday episodes of Stimulated will be no more.
Oh.
Everyone got too stimulated, as we mentioned on the main episode, but from here on out, we are going to be releasing the Baddies Book Club as their very own episodes every single Friday.
Starting next week.
Yeah.
Because this is out on Monday. So this Friday coming up, if you're listening to this when it comes out,
It's the
there will be a simulated.
But
Last one.
When it happens, you'll figure it out. But to preface, our new format is Monday normal episode, Thursday Patreon, Friday Baddies Book Club, and we know some of you baddies can't wait.
Yes.
So every single Monday, if you want the Baddies Book Club episodes early, they will be on Patreon
On Monday.
for $5 a month, and you also get the extra episode on Thursday. So good bang for your
The
buck.
value on Patreon's crazy. There's also a year and a half coming up close to 2 years worth of episodes to binge.
Yeah, the best thing for us to see and hear is when people start at the very start of our episodes and they say, we'd love to see your growth. Scary for us
Scary for us, yes.
because we don't want to go back and listen to how bad we
And,
were.
let's not bring anything up from there either.
But even the start of Patreon to where we're at now, I think our character development,
Yes.
like the character development in ACOTAR, is quite exciting.
Yes.
The confidence we get.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So let's so that's that.
Lights are on.
Lights are on. Go sign up to Patreon and support the cause and become part of where the baddies unite. That's where they unite.
Yeah, and I think we've done this too because of how much support you've given.
Yes.
So
This is honestly
fun.
a year ago. If you told me we were doing a book club and we turned it into its own thing, I just would not have believed you.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun.
I tell you what it is.
So excited.
Frontal lobe
It
development.
is. It 100% is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I couldn't agree more. So what I did this week, Oddy, was last week I did my own little 2-sentence summaries of the chapters. Right.
That's what I've done this week.
This week, I went through the effort I took a photo of every single page of each chapter, put it into ChatGPT, and I said, turn this into 5 sentences for me. Summarize this into 5 sentences. So ChatGPT has read chapter 37 to 46 and summarized each individual chapter into 5 sentences, just so I wanted to paint a better picture for the baddies.
That's still good. I was going to give you so much praise thinking you'd done something amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, because you texted me and
I
said,
reckon this is amazing.
you were like, oh, I've got the best idea. Can we
Do you
record
know
a
how
little bit
long
later?
it took me?
It's still good. I'm giving you some praise, but it's still using ChatGPT. But kick us off, Jake, we stopped at chapter 37.
Yes.
And shit's about to hit the fan.
Okay, I think the best thing to do for this quickly is to remember what were our
Predictions.
predictions last week.
Remember our predictions and then say our thoughts on the next chapters too,
yeah.
before we get into
So
it.
what was your prediction? Because I'm pretty sure
I was semi-right.
you had a good one.
I landed. I
You
did
landed
land.
hard on the prediction.
I can't really say it because it will give away one of the chapters, but
Yeah.
my predictions were Freya, Okay, sorry. That's the only time I'm going to say it wrong. Feyre.
Feyre.
Yeah. That after we've done like what 6 Baddies book
Yeah.
clubs. Feyre.
Feyre.
If I say it once more wrong, I'm going to be so pissed when I edit it. Feyre. Feyre and Rhysand team up and somehow beat Amarantha. I said, and I also said, did I say Feyre will become a fairy?
You said Feyre gains powers.
Yes.
And you said that Feyre and Rhysand team up to beat Amarantha. And what we're going to say right now is Oddie landed on part of that. All right?
Yeah.
So,
What did you say again? You wanted
I
some
think-
threesome or something?
I stand by
I was reading that.
I stand by my love triangle theory. And what's going to happen is it's going on into the next book. It has to.
When the book finished in the last scene
Yes.
with Rhysand and Feyre,
There you go.
I was like, this is very much alluding to
Yes.
when she's like, oh,
Yes.
don't
My
forget about what we said.
exactly, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but that was the predictions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts and feelings.
Thoughts and feelings is I'm happy.
I'm happy too.
My mind's blown.
yeah, my mind's blown too.
My mind's absolutely blown. We both got the riddle wrong.
That pissed me off.
Same. Oh, also same. Not gonna lie, same.
I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. I should have got that. I should have got that.
You should have got that.
I should have got that.
Yeah, honestly, that's poor from you.
Yeah, I should have got that.
You definitely should have got that.
It's kind of how you expected it to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm intrigued because it kind of left it not really on a cliffhanger like the other chapters.
No, they didn't. Which
I thought there was going to be a
actually quite like.
massive cliffhanger.
The way that Sarah J. Maas wrote this, you could finish on Akatar.
Yeah.
And you don't have to read the rest.
Yeah.
But I'm reading the rest. We are
Same,
reading
same,
the
same,
rest.
same.
So we'll start off with 37.
Yeah.
This is my summary of 37. Where we left off on 36 was Feyre had just completed her first trial with the worm and she was being taken away. And Amarantha said to her, my whole court lost a lot of money on you apart from one. My prediction was it was Rhysand that
You were
made
right.
a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
was right.
And she was also very, very injured.
Very injured, arm broken, bone sticking out.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 37. Feyre lies gravely injured and feverish in the dungeon after her first trial, with no help from Tamlin or Lucian. Rhysand appears, offering to heal her in exchange for a bargain. So he originally said 2 weeks of per month for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You come to the night court and live with me for 2 weeks every month for the rest of your life, right?
And Feyre was like, it's not that long. I'm like, what?
And Feyre she's literally dying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
She's
yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
And so she says, originally, I think she's like, no, fuck off. She's like, piss off. She spits at him.
She was spitting a lot in there.
Yeah. Just spitting at him, right? So she initially refuses.
Yeah.
Her worsening condition and the doubt that Lucian will come because Lucian got whipped for helping her last time.
Did she know?
She knew by this point,
She did,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure. And,
yep.
and Amarantha got Tamlin to do the whipping.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Evil woman.
Yeah. So she refuses. And then, so the doubt that Lucian will come in time, it ends up forcing her. Rhysand's about to leave because she's like spitting at him and he's like, stupid human. He's about to leave. And she goes, wait, 5 days. And he's like, 10. She goes, 5. And he goes, 1 week. So she says, deal.
Yeah.
And then he heals her. And so the bargain was he heals her and 1 week of every single month for the rest of her life. If she survives, she has to go live in the night court with him. So what it did though was, so Rhysand heals her arm and leaves her marked with a permanent magical tattoo symbolizing their bargain. And she didn't know this was going to happen.
No, she didn't.
Cheeky boy.
She's like, what the hell's this?
Cheeky boy.
And there's an eye on her
There's
palm.
an eye on her palm. Ends up helping her, by the way. Feyre realizes Rhysand's true motive was to spite Tamlin, and she has been caught in his trap.
Yeah.
So, because he says to her, she's going, get this off my arm. And she's like, why? Are you scared a certain high fae will see?
Yeah.
Or high lord?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, obviously, she's like, I don't want fucking Tamlin to know I did deal with the devil.
I've got quotes. Unless this lack of gratitude and appreciation is because you fear a certain high lord's reaction.
There you go. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Lack of gratitude is right, Feyre. You saved your life, bro.
I really like how Rhysand was depicted and what he turned into.
I am not going to lie. Character development on Rhysand,
Yeah.
best in the book.
Yeah, I think
best in
so.
the book.
I think
Oh,
so.
maybe Feyre, to be fair, but second
There's
best
one
in the
thing
book.
I didn't like he did. We'll get to that.
Oh no, there's one thing I didn't like he did either.
I hated
There's a
that.
few things I didn't like he did.
No,
But
there was one that like I was like, oh, ew.
the reasons he did them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yes. Chapter 38. Feyre struggles through cruel and impossible chores assigned by Amarantha's guards, haunted by the bargain she made with Rhysand and the magical tattoo marking her. While scrubbing a filthy marble hallway, she is secretly helped by the lady of the Autumn Court, who provides her clean water as repayment for Feyre saving Lucian. Lucian is her, because Lucian's from the Autumn Court, but he's left. The next day, Feyre is forced to sort lentils from ashes she doesn't know whose room it is.
Pause. What were lentils?
Lentils?
Yeah.
I think that they are food. Lentils are like the
That's
lentils
what I thought.
of
I
food,
looked it
yeah.
up because I paused and looked up on my phone what lentils were and it
Yeah.
came up with the food. I'm like,
'Cause
why the fuck is she cleaning food out of
The
the
guards
fireplace?
said to her, she didn't know whose room it was.
Yeah.
They put her in this room and they said, one of the slaves or something, whatever, foolishly spilt lentils into the fireplace of this High Lord.
Yeah.
You clean it. If it's not clean by the time they're back, dead.
You're dead.
Dead. Literally, what? Crazy. And so, Feyre is forced to sort the lentils from the ashes in Rhysand's fireplace. We figure out it's Rhysand's. Only to be caught by him mid-task. Their tense exchange reveals more about Rhysand's powers, his defiance of Amarantha, and Feyre's growing awareness of how dangerous and manipulative he truly is. In the end, Rhysand uses his magic to clean Feyre and her surroundings, spares her from further torment, and asserts his control over the guards, leaving Feyre unnerved but momentarily safe.
Yeah, so Rhysand said, don't touch her anymore.
Yep.
She's mine.
Yep.
I also thought when we found out it was Rhysand's room, I thought they were going to have sex then.
So did I. I'm not going to lie.
But
I thought they were going to boink.
I think you planted a seed
Sorry, yeah, I
in my
have.
brain. I was like,
I
it's
have.
going to happen.
I've planted a fucking gnarly seed for that.
Yeah, but nothing was sexy leading up to it, so I was like, maybe not.
No, true.
But I didn't know what lentils were.
If her and Rhysand don't ever have some sort of sexual relationship in the whole series, I'm not going to lie, not worth the read.
Yeah. They've got to too. And they're both like the hottest characters.
Yes, 100%. Tamlin's good looking, but Rhysand?
What did, at
Striking.
the end of that chapter, I didn't quite understand this. Rhysand said, I had my reasons to be out then when he went to Fire Night.
So, yeah.
Do not think, Freya, that did not cost me. Why did he have his reasons to be at Fire Night? That went over my head.
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
It doesn't get said.
Yeah. I
So
thought I
he
missed
had his
something.
reasons because he...
It's kind of like he planned to see her.
That's what I'm starting to think.
Yeah.
So it's like he knew of her existence already somehow.
Yeah.
But also he couldn't have.
But he could have because he's so powerful. I don't know.
It is crazy though. So
Maybe he saw her in the woods or something. We don't know.
maybe what... So another thing you find out about Rhysand in this chapter is... So she says... Because Rhysand is actually like quite a bit more powerful than the other High Lords. So she actually asks why. Did Amarantha let you keep some of your powers because you're her whore? Crazy to say. And I don't know, I think he says no. And he's like, which is just what's the word? Basically, he says like, no, she didn't let me keep any of my powers, which is just a true testament to what I truly am. And so she then says, do you also like, is Tamlin the only one that turns into a beast? And all the High Lords do have a shape-shifting power. They're not all just a beast. And Rhysand's is sick.
Yeah, he gets wings.
Yeah, he's got these massive talons that come out and these sick black wings, but he doesn't like having a beast face. So he keeps his
So he's still hot.
He keeps like his mad sexy body, right? Like
Yeah.
abs and shit. And he keeps his head, but then he just has wings. He keeps his muscly arms, but then he has talons. Like he just looks hectic.
Yeah, that's cool. Very
Okay. So she finds out about him. And so then after that, yeah, he tells the guards no more tasks, like no more chores for her. And also after this, she gets 2 hot meals a day.
Yeah, they were treating her like shit until Rhysand said that.
Yeah. Okay, chapter 39. Feyre endures days of isolation and degradation after her bargain with Rhysand, receiving food but no companionship, and is eventually taken by shadowy night court servants to be bathed, painted, and dressed in revealing attire for Amarantha's court.
Yeah, this was sus.
So this was really sus. She just gets like, she's alone for days. She's getting fed, which is good. No more chores, but she's just fucking alone, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets taken by some shadowy figures to a room. They bathe her, and then they paint her, and then they just put like cloth that's covering her boobs and her vagina and barely any of her butt. And then she gets taken. So Rhysand forces her to attend nightly parties at his side, and the first one that he takes her to, she goes out there, everyone's there, Tamlin's there, Lucius there, everyone's there, right? And he says to have some wine, and Alice, one of her rules was do not drink this wine, and so he forces her to.
Yeah.
She has no choice. As soon as she sips it, gone. She said she's gone. Wakes up the next day, and she is in the dungeon vomiting.
Yeah.
By the way, Lucian comes that day. He comes in and he's like, what have you done? You made a deal with him? She's like, I was dying. What you weren't coming. He goes, of course I would have come. She's like, how was I supposed to know I was dying?
But she would have died too, because he was like, this is the first day I could walk. So that was the first day she was going to
Yeah, that was the first day he could walk from his
was gonna
lashings.
die,
That's when she finds out about
Yeah,
lashings.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she goes like, what happened? And he's like, you don't want to know. You really don't want to know. And she goes, like, what happened? And he said, basically, Rhysand got you to dance the whole night, sitting on his lap in a very revealing way, and just to get to Tamlin. So she was drugged.
But at this point, I was kind of hating Rhysand because
Same.
he was coming across as possessive,
Yeah.
and it was alluding to making Tamlin jealous, although you didn't think it would really work. It was kind of making him jealous so Tamlin would hate Rhysand, not to build anger towards Amarantha.
Yeah.
So you're hating Rhysand, and then he came across as very possessive, and he's like, how will I know if anyone else touches you?
And that's why the paint
And I was
is
getting
there.
sus, and when he's like, she only touched my hips.
He was touching her all over, but she always woke up
Yeah.
with smudged paint. So she knew she had been touched, but
Yeah.
she was never touched in private parts.
Yeah. Which
And
I was like,
she
thank
noticed
God.
that.
Yeah.
So, because she would always wake up and not remember anything. Lucian finally visits her, explains why he couldn't come sooner, assuring her she wasn't fully violated and that Tamlin saw everything, but was powerless to intervene. Rhysand later performs a public execution in the throne room, killing a summer court fairy swiftly and mercifully, hinting that even his cruelty may serve a deeper strategy in the deadly game he's playing with Amarantha. So, Feyre figures out that Rhysand is actually playing games with Amarantha, but hiding it from Amarantha. Yeah.
Because this fairy that Rhysand just killed tried to escape. And when Rhysand took over his mind, all the thoughts of the fairies who helped this one and his reason for leaving, he kept to himself.
So yeah, there was more involved.
Yeah, and he kept that to himself so he didn't have to hurt more people. And then Amarantha also said, kill his mind, but don't actually kill him. Kill the fairy's mind, not actually him.
Yeah, she said, yeah. She said, like, kill his mind, and then he just kills him.
Yeah, and he just make him dumb so he lives with no mind. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to kill him. So we actually saved the fairy in the long run.
Pretty
just
much, yeah.
Killing him quickly and
Yeah,
swiftly.
and lying about who else was involved, so more fairies didn't have to die. Yeah.
So you're seeing his character slightly be a little bit better. But
Yeah,
you're
you're
still
starting-
you're still thinking Rhysand's a dog.
You still hate him.
Yeah.
And you don't really know yet. You're not 100% sure yet.
Yeah.
So, and then chapter 40 is task number 2, trial number 2.
This one's fun.
Now, the whole chapter was the trial.
Yeah.
And I just know it off by heart because I really liked this chapter. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
What have you got written down?
I wrote that. So the trial was 3 kind of levers, and she obviously is illiterate and written on each one. What was the question to?
It was, so she goes out, everyone's there for the trial, and then what happens is the floor starts
the floor
to
sinks,
lower.
Yeah.
And when it's lowering, what's being revealed is there's like a cage, right? And it's splitting, like it's splitting the area that's being lowered in half or something like that. And on the other side of the fucking bars is Lucian, tied up.
Yeah, that was it.
I think he was naked too. I don't know why.
Maybe.
But basically he's tied up.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 levers, 1, 2, and 3. And the whole task is to read this passage of writing and then pull the appropriate lever to answer the question. And she can't read.
Did Amarantha know she couldn't read?
She didn't know that.
Interesting.
She had no idea.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm thinking this bitch is going to die because she can't read.
That's what I was thinking,
And I was
bro.
like, this is so sad.
Oh, so what's happening is basically it's a timed trial because there's spikes on the ceiling that are coming down slowly.
Lucian's like, please.
And yeah, Lucian
Just pull one.
Lucian and
Please.
her are gonna die if she can't do it. They're both gonna die.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's getting super close. She can't read it. She's making out some words, and then Lucian is yelling out, "Just pick one!"
Yeah.
It's like you could tell he just wanted to say, "You fucking idiot, just pick one."
Yeah.
And so she goes up. This is important. With the hand of the new tattoo, she goes to pull a lever, and she feels wincing pain, and she doesn't really realize what's happening yet. And then she pulls another. Wincing pain, and then the idiot goes back to pull the one she tried to pull.
Yeah.
Wincing pain,
Yeah.
and finally she's realizing that the one she goes towards that doesn't have wincing pain is the one she needs to pull. Pulls it. Who was it that's helping her? Rhysand. He's now connected to her. Can see stuff through the eye tattoo on the palm of her hand. Genius. And so then what happens is, so she was supposed to die, and she knew she was going to die until she just took the risk, and Rhysand helped her.
She was devo that she got help. She's like, I shouldn't be here. I was like, bitch, who cares?
She kept on saying like, so he ends up entering her mind and going, don't cry.
Yeah.
Don't let Amarantha see you cry. So she has to hold strong, stay strong, stay strong. And then she weeps when she gets back to her dungeon for like hours, she says.
I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah, because just for some reason, because she thinks she doesn't deserve to be or she should be dead.
I didn't
so
do
she's
this by
crying about
myself.
it.
Yeah.
Not that I've had any near-death experiences, but
Well, I think
You're
the fact
alive.
that she hates Rhysand makes it worse because he's the one who saved her. So he's like, oh, no, Rhysand. Yeah.
so that is chapter 41.
Bit of an L of a challenge, to be honest. 3 levers, like, with a thing falling down.
Yeah.
Very
the first
classic.
challenge was actually cool.
The second, very classic.
Yeah.
Like
The third one, cool.
The second one's like a Scooby-Doo scene.
Yeah, the
3
second
levers, like, what the hell?
You're giving her a 33% chance either way.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
she does say that too. Amarantha says, "I've only given you 3 levers. I've given you some help here."
Yeah.
But so chapter 41 is after surviving the second trial, Feyre falls into despair, numbing herself with fairy wine. Basically, from there, every single day, she comes and gets picked up because she has another full month to her next trial. She gets picked up every single day, and by these night court servants, dressed up, painted, and then taken, drinks the wine, and she ends up just like
She started looking forward to it.
she just looked forward to it because it would numb her.
Yeah, and she was like in a state of depression
She was definitely depressed.
because she also didn't
And-
think she couldn't solve the riddle
Yeah, no.
at all, and she kept thinking about it. And she's like, "Why is this so hard?"
so hard,
And then
yeah.
she was in a state of depression, and she's like, "I'm not going to win this third one." She was down on herself, and then the wine was an escape.
I think the reason she said to herself, that second one I should have died, and Rhysand helped me. So she is saying to herself, in the third one, it's imminent death.
There's
in
no
the third
chance.
one. Yeah. And so then, in chapter 4, okay, one of the times, so
When she's getting taken to be painted.
So she overhears, one of the times she's taken by Rhysand's shadow servants, she oversees a secret conversation between the Ator and a mysterious creature about the King of Highbone's growing dissatisfaction and looming plans for war. The moment reveals that Rhysand's handmaids are also spies, and that greater dangers threaten not just Feyre, but the entire mortal realm. Later, while trapped in her cell and emotionally broken, Feyre hears a hauntingly beautiful melody that stirs her soul and reminds her of love, light, and the reasons she must keep fighting. The music becomes a spiritual balm, reigniting her will to live just 2 days before her final and most dangerous trial. Do we ever find out where that comes from?
The music.
I reckon it's Tamlin doing something with magic.
Well, at the end there was a sunset. Was there music at the end too? Was the sunrise, sunset? Was there music playing? Was it the same music? No. I don't know where that came from, but also that conversation they overheard sparked something too, because she's like, everyone else is hating Amarantha as much as she is.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. And also the King of Highburn was dissatisfied with how Amarantha was treating Feyre.
Well, he was just
because
like,
of the sort of overlappingness of Julian. Julian?
he doesn't give a shit about Feyre.
No.
He's just annoyed that Amarantha's wasting 3 months that they could be using to overtake the mortal realm.
Yeah.
Just to toy with Feyre. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about any of that. That's beneath him. But Amarantha hates humans so much she loves to see the torture. Yeah.
I tell you what, the riddle, I know I was wrong, but Amarantha still could have been Kills him slowly. 3 months.
Fair, you're not wrong.
Oh no, we should have had the riddle again. I don't have it. Do you?
No, I don't.
No, neither.
Okay, chapter 42. On the eve of her final trial, Feyre is again at a event, at a ball.
Yeah.
She's pulled into a passionate, stolen moment with Tamlin.
Dumb.
He comes over.
Dumb.
So Rhysand's busy over talking to some
yeah.
fairies, and she's like on the outskirts waiting for Rhysand to come get her because she doesn't like to walk around on her own, right? And everyone's got eyes on her all the time.
Yeah.
And so she sees Tamlin, but then looks away, looks back, he's gone. And then what she feels up next to her is someone come up and grazes her somehow, like skin somewhere. And she's like, and he stops next to her, and she realizes that he is next to her, and she like grabs his hand, and then he lets go, and he starts walking away, and then he turns around, small smirk, and she goes, "That means follow."
It's like when you've been getting with a girl all night, and she's like,
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're going to find a quiet place to pash. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. We're going to find a quiet place, or we're going to do it in front of everyone. Who cares?
Yeah.
So,
and I was like, you idiot.
so
A little bit of a
basically,
sexy scene.
They were going to fuck.
Yeah,
they were
about
like
to.
getting clothes off, right? A stolen moment with Tamlin only to be interrupted and exposed by Rhysand.
He was
so they fucking So they went into a small room, a dark room, and then they were getting all down and dirty, and then Rhysand just goes,
What are you two cheeky devils getting up to, you dirty dogs?
and then basically Tamlin and Rhysand both hear someone about to open the door, and Rhysand, I don't know what no.
He told
He says
Tamlin to get away.
He's like, be a good boy
Yeah.
and leave. He's like, what are you guys doing? Be a good boy and fucking leave.
Yeah.
And so Tamlin leaves, but then Amarantha and some crew come to look in the door, and Rhysand just starts kissing Feyre.
This is when I started to hate
Yeah.
Rhysand because he like forced himself on her.
Yeah.
And the way she was describing it, I was like, ew, what's going on?
She wasn't a fan.
But the ploy in the end, and Amarantha is like, I knew this was going to happen.
So ChatGPT said it's to protect them both.
Yeah, it was to protect him. And it's sort of also building the hatred because Tamlin didn't know why he was doing it. Building the hatred from Tamlin towards Amarantha.
Well, the whole reason that Rhysand is doing all this stuff and doing the humiliating of Feyre is because he wants Tamlin to see it.
Yeah.
And he knows that Tamlin's going to hate Rhysand for it, but he's taking a risk. He's betting on the fact that Tamlin's actually going to blame Amarantha for it. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Still crazy.
publicly humiliated and dismissed, Feyre returns to her cell, only for Rhysand to later appear and confide in her, revealing his own torment as Amarantha's prisoner and his strategic reasons for drugging but never truly violating her. He explains that provoking Tamlin's rage is part of his plan to ultimately destroy Amarantha, and that even his kiss was a calculated move to shield Feyre from worse punishment. The conversation unveils Rhysand's vulnerability, his past, and his deep concern for his people and court, painting a more complex picture of the man Feyre thought she hated. In the end, she realizes that despite his methods, Rhysand has been protecting her all along, even making a lesser bargain when he could have demanded much more. Now, one thing we find out is that Rhysand's dad killed Tamlin's dad.
We do find that out.
Yeah.
I wrote that down somewhere. Yeah. I also like Rhysand's powers, being able to see things in a different light.
I like Rhysand after figuring all that out.
Very cool. When there's all these sly little things, he's such an intricate character.
I think he's a beast.
Yeah, his character development is definitely one
I
of
don't
the
like that
best.
he's kind of sexually assaulted her, but
No, not
not
at all.
kind of. He kind of straight up did.
100% did.
Regardless of the reasons.
Yeah, regardless. Not on, but it's fantasy.
It is fantasy and it is a story.
So, chapter 43, the final challenge.
Bro.
This had a good kicker, Jake, didn't it? I didn't see that coming, did you? What happened?
No,
Neither.
bro.
I was
not at all.
So, I'll explain. The final challenge was 3 fairies, all innocent, came in.
Hooded.
Yeah, hooded. Told to get on their knees.
Yep.
And then an ash dagger. 3 individual ash daggers.
Yep.
Were told that-
Ashwood.
Yeah, ashwood.
We know that that's what kills fairies.
And she goes, all you have to do is kill these 3 innocent fairies.
And your Tamlin is yours.
Yeah, and I was like, score!
Yeah, same. I was like, holy shit, she's going to do it, no problem.
Yeah, I was like, Feyre's a beast!
But she was torn.
Yeah, she was torn. And so, first fairy she goes to kill. Hood comes off male. And he's like, no.
Oh yeah, she has to take. She
has to
picks
say
up
more.
a ash blade. She's gonna do it, and then Amarantha goes, "Wait, take this hood off.
Yeah.
So she has to look them in the eyes.
And he's like, please don't do it. The first one was easy to kill.
Please. And she's like, and then you're reading it and it goes, and then I slowly inserted it into his chest. And I was like, shit, Feyre. Holy shit, girl.
Yeah, it was going like, these fairies probably have families just as much as I love Tamlin.
And also, it's pretty well known now that fairy children, especially high fae children, rare.
Yeah.
Dying breed.
Very rare.
For some reason, it's really hard for them to procreate.
Would you, if you were put in the same position as Feyre, would you kill 3 people to save the one you love?
But I'm not just saving the one I love.
You're also saving all
Everyone.
of...
Yeah. It's a no-brainer. You don't want to have to put yourself... You don't want to have to change who you are to do it, right? But the alternative is Amarantha kills me in a split second. These 3 fairies get to live, but everyone's trapped under the Night Court. And also, the mortal lands, forget about them.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, I'm sorry, it's these 3 fairies' lives.
Easy.
Or
Easy
everyone
decision.
else's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was rattled, but...
She was rattled, right? So what have I got? So for a final trial, Feyre is brought before Amarantha. The task is stabbing 3 seemingly innocent fairies in the heart to win her freedom. And throughout all this, she's looking up at Tamlin, right? And he is not making eye contact with her. And she's like, weird. And he's not showing any expression. He's not showing distress, nothing, right? But he's up there. It's him up there next to Amarantha. It's him. And so then...
Fairy 2
2
was a young girl.
Young girl.
And she's like, do it. Take me to the place where I can live forever.
Because she just saw Feyre kill that fairy, the first one, she's like, well, obviously she's going to be able to kill a second, right? So she does start doing some sort of praying.
Yeah.
And then she's like looking Feyre and she goes, do it. Feyre's taking her time. I was like, fuck, you made it slow.
Didn't she say something like, this won't help you? Or something like, oh, this won't help you in my world.
Fucking hell. Like, just...
Yeah.
And then, she kills her.
Second one, dead.
Second one, dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, love.
And you're like, this is easy.
And then, yeah, true. I was like, okay, which is sweet. And then, okay. When the final fairy is to be revealed, they take off
The hood.
and who is it?
Tamlin!
It's Tamlin!
I thought he was next to Amarantha.
And then she looks back up
He's gone.
at Amarantha, and it's the Ator that was shapeshifted into Tamlin, and they're all laughing, chuckle. So she looks, and basically Amarantha is like, okay, well, here's the third one you got to kill. And once he's dead, he's yours.
And at face value, Feyre can't win.
Feyre can't win.
Either she lives and Tamlin dies.
And then...
But it's kind of dumb from Amarantha, to be fair.
Well, that's a good point, but she thinks... It was a semi-gamble from Amarantha, but...
Big gamble. She loves the gamble.
She was betting on Feyre being done.
Yeah, I guess so.
So basically...
But,
okay.
but knowing how much effort Amarantha has put into keeping Tamlin at her side, even though he absolutely hates her guts, and then putting him up for collateral doesn't make sense to me at all. Even though she knows that, but even if Feyre didn't know that, what's her name's heart, we'll get to that.
Yeah, okay, so...
I thought it was a dumb decision for her.
I personally also think it's a dumb decision.
Yeah.
I was too invested to think about it, though.
Yeah.
So what happens is Feyre is obviously torn. She's like, do I now have to make an even bigger decision and kill the one I love to save everyone else in his life? And so she's thinking, and then she starts to think to herself like, wait, I just don't see Amarantha letting Tamlin die because Amarantha's in love with Tamlin. She's doing all of this is literally because he would not be her fucking husband, right? Or because he wouldn't sleep with her and be hers. She's like, what's going on here? And then she realizes like she's having flashback memories of all these times that people have said to Tamlin, oh, you're quite warm or something like that for someone with a heart of stone.
Yes.
And so she's like, what? No. She's wigging out. So she remembers Lucian saying it. And then she actually remembers the Ator saying it. And what she says is like, I could have been glamoured to the Ator where I didn't even see him, but Tamlin told me to hide. He glamoured me from the Ator, but not the Ator from me. Did he do that for a reason? Because the Ator said, oh, Tamlin, for someone with a heart of stone, you're very warm or something like that. And so she's like, is Tamlin's heart literally made of stone?
Yeah. And as a reader,
Yeah.
we obviously just brushed over that and it went over our head.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, shit.
I was like, shit, little twist,
Yeah,
bro.
big
And so
twist.
she started to think like, well, Tamlin was doing this on purpose. The reason that I could hear all these conversations when they literally knew I was there because they can feel my fucking heartbeat from a mile away is he wanted me to hear it. And so what does she do? Picks up the ash dagger, stabs Tamlin in the heart, and it's going. And initially she goes, fuck, it's not slowing down. But then, chink, she hits a heart of stone.
They won.
They won. And so what does it say here? Farah stabs Tamlin in the heart, trusting he would survive due to his heart of stone. And when he begins healing, it's confirmed she was right. But Amarantha refuses to honor her promise, twisting Farah's words to delay the freeing of Tamlin and unleashes brutal magical torture on her. So
Well, Amarantha was a liar.
Amarantha was a liar. So basically, she was like, I said I'd free them, but I didn't say when.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of fairies that is trying to go,
Liar.
free them.
Yeah.
Free
They
them.
won.
They won. She did it. Free them. And Amarantha's like, fuck you all. She's like, yeah. I didn't say when. It could be when you're dead for all I care. Bitch. And then, so what happens is she literally just, because I guess in a way it means that Feyre did technically fail, she starts to literally kill Feyre.
Yeah, she's in agonizing pain. And then Rhysand comes out of his skin and was like, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
And
so
tries to fight Amarantha.
she has Feyre. Amarantha comes over towards Feyre, and Feyre has one of the daggers, and she is. Does Feyre try to go stab her?
No,
But in
Rhysand did. Tried to stab her straight in the neck.
That's right. Rhysand was standing there, and Rhysand tries to stab Amarantha, but
And
she
she's
just Rhysand goes flying.
Yeah, she's like, weak.
And then basically Amarantha just like is just using magic on Feyre and just like crushing her up against the stones and shit like that, and just yelling like, admit it, you don't love him. Admit it, you don't love him. And she's just like, I won't admit it. I do love Tamlin. I will not admit it. And Tamlin can't do anything because he's like healing really slow because his magical powers are depleted. And then I think...
But Amarantha there planted the seed of the riddle as Feyre is getting like excruciating pain. She's like, oh, the riddle. And she's like, say that, what's going on in my head? She's like, the only thing that can save me now is the riddle. And then she keeps going. And say that you love her, say that you don't love her.
And also, what I'm pretty sure one of the things she says is like, the only thing keeping me together is my love for Tamlin.
Yeah.
And then she's like, so then each time she gets like smashed against the stone, she's like reading out a thing of the riddle, and she's like, reads the first line. She's like, and then eventually she goes, I know what it is. And then she's about to die and she goes, love. The answer is love. Yeah. And then, from there, because Amarantha word for word said, if you get the answer right to my riddle, immediately. Masks are off, power's back, Tamlin's yours, everyone's free. Fucking some of the spring court's masks start falling off.
Yeah, it's just drop.
And then Tamlin instantly heals. Tamlin fucks Amarantha up, bro.
Yeah.
Big time. So, after Feyre solves the riddle and Feyre dies.
Did she? I didn't think she was almost about to die.
No, Feyre is dead.
No. So she's still alive when Tamlin's beating Amarantha.
No, she's looking at it through Rhysand's eyes.
Yeah. But we don't know she's dead.
Okay.
We don't know if she's dead. That's
so Tamlin's freed from Amarantha's curse, unleashes his full power and brutality, kills her in a moment of explosive vengeance. Chaos erupts, but many fairies, including Lucian and several High Lords, step in to help stop Amarantha's forces. Tamlin cradles Feyre's broken body, weeping, while the High Lords of each court basically...
So we didn't know she was dead and she's on the ground.
Yeah, so he kills Amarantha.
Yeah.
Tamlin kills Amarantha. Everything's good. All the rest of everyone just like runs away from everyone, right? All the rest of her court. And then she's on the ground and Tamlin comes over and picks her up and he's cradling her. And you come to the realization that she's dead. And she was watching it through Rhysand's eyes because of the tattoo.
Yeah.
And so she's dead, but she can still see stuff through Rhysand's eyes. And what happens is every High Lord from each court comes over and drops like this light on top of Feyre. And then Rhysand comes over. He's like the last one to do it. And he drops a light on top of her and he's like, this is basically he's like, this is repayment for her saving everyone, and this is you and I. Like, debts are settled. Don't come after me now because I did all that shit to her to make you angry. And
that just shows how powerful Tamlin is.
Yeah. Everyone's scared of Tamlin.
Yeah.
Declaring, so Rhysand drops his power last, declaring the debt between them repaid. Tamlin, with all the magic combined and his love guiding him, kisses Feyre and lays his glowing hand on her heart to bring her back to life.
I love
Okay. Feyre is resurrected by the combined powers of the High Wards and awakens as a High Fae.
See what I said right here? I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I got it right. I knew it.
Bro, she's now a fairy. She's a high fairy.
It was the only way to save her.
It was. Her human body now transformed, but her soul still burdened by the lives she took.
Yeah.
As she grapples with guilt and her new identity. Tamlin reassures her with love and tenderness.
I want to say what I have written down here.
Yeah.
Time to have sex.
Bro, they go and fuck.
Yeah, they go and fuck.
Yeah, her and Tamlin go and fuck. And then, so they stay in the court under the mountain.
Yeah.
And they boink a bit.
Yeah.
And then she said, so she knew they were leaving when they woke up. She was restless and couldn't sleep. And so she felt the urge to go for a walk in the mountain. And she gets to this point where she sees some light. And she walks up these stairs to a fucking balcony. Who's there? Rhysand. And he goes, I guess this is goodbye. And she goes, well, don't forget, I got to come see you once a week.
It was kind of like she wanted to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like she wanted to. It's kind of like if she was to have just said goodbye, hope I never see you again, he wasn't going to hold her to it. But he goes, you know what I think he was doing was testing her, because he goes
To see if
she obviously she wants it, because he chuckles and he goes, how could I forget?
Yes. And when he flies off, this was the only thing that alluded to the next book, was he saw something in Feyre, had a double take, and then she's like, what'd you see? And then he's disappeared. Like something was part of her as a fairy. And you're like, oh, what is it? And then you just don't find out. And I assume that's in the next book.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
So yeah, she's a fucking high fae now, and she's going to be a beast, and she just says that she feels different, and I think she's like a little bit bigger, I don't know.
Yeah. She's got different hands, like the clawy things. But also, when they leave the court under the mountain, Jurian's eye and bone is gone.
Yes.
And I was like, oh,
Something's going on.
that's got to play a part somewhere. Either he could come back to life. We'll get to that in our predictions. Who knows? But they go back to the spring court, and she has to face what she's done.
She has to she says to herself, like, I'm high fae now. I'm literally immortal.
Yeah.
So,
What a dub.
like, she says to herself, I have time to face what I've done, but right now is like time to rest.
Yeah.
She's like giving herself a break.
Yeah, she's like, one day I will ask about the fairies I killed his family, but now isn't the day.
Exactly.
And you're like,
And then they smell the fresh air of the spring court, and they see the manor, and she looks at Tamlin and she says, let's go home, and the book ends.
okay. So order of operations is everyone who has been reading along, time to pull up, we use Amazon, your preferred method of ordering the book. I know a lot of you already have it, but this is fun.
Oh shit, I put the Amex on my phone so I can order it on mine.
Okay, you can do it.
So
what's the new book called again?
A Court of Mist and Fury.
Okay, A Court of Mist and Fury.
A court.
And we have one thing to ask of all the baddies while Jake's ordering our book is we have options for how we are going to consume the next book.
Yes.
A lot of comments have said dramatized audio.
Oh shit.
So we will do whatever you want. If you want us to do the next book club in dramatized audio, we can do that and come with our recaps. Or do you want us to continue in the same format we've been doing reading? Or another slight option is Jake reads and I do dramatized audio, because I know you like reading more.
I do like the reading.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll be good to listen. Yeah. So a few questions. So answer those questions. We'll order 2 books regardless.
Yeah. We still want them because they look cool.
And then also, facts. And then also in terms of format of the episode, did you guys like that?
Yeah.
Was that good? Pretty in depth. Very in depth.
I wonder if it's better, less recapping, more of our thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. So like that was a lot of recap.
Yeah.
So what's would you guys prefer thoughts, like 20-minute episode of thoughts purely?
Yeah. But now the book is ordered, we have to do our predictions.
What's our predictions for the next book?
It could go anywhere, honestly. So they've got to find out that thing that Rhysand looked at the end about Feyre. So I think a lot of the next book is her figuring out how to be a fairy.
Yeah. She's true. She's going to really like come into her own.
Yeah, she's going to figure out all the differences in her powers and everything. And I think she's going to become like a beast, obviously.
Okay, I was going to say, I think she's special, obviously. And she is, personally, I think that she is a lot more powerful than the rest. Maybe not as powerful as the High Lords, but I do think she's going to be like a very, very strong High Fae. So like better than Lucian, better than all these other High Fae that we know. You know what I mean?
Does the King of Highburn still want to kill the mortals?
Yes. So here, yeah, that's where I'm going.
I'm thinking she's going to figure out how to use her powers, and her whole ploy is going to be, I reckon she's still going to become a queen of something.
Okay.
And her whole purpose is to save the mortal realm from Highburn.
Okay.
Something like that.
And she convinces all the other High Lords to help her.
Yes, and they already all love her.
She saved them.
Most of them.
They owe her a favor. Oh no, they brought her back to life.
Yeah,
Not really.
but also, so are you agreeing with that?
Look, I don't disagree. I do think that this next book is going to be...
Apparently this is the best one.
I don't think, for some reason, I don't think this book is going to be the book that Highburn is trying to kill the mortals.
Maybe it's later.
I think it's going to be in later in what... There's 3 more books after this. I think another challenge arises in this book, and basically there's going to be another challenge that arises.
Wait.
Just like another thing happens, right? Maybe it is a threat from Highburn to just Prithian and not the mortal realms yet, but there's going to be so much back and forth of her going from Spring Court to Night Court. Yeah. So I think that what's going to happen is...
Because, wait, I might be reading between the lines here, because everyone said the second book is the best book. I'm thinking she's going to figure out how to fight her love between Tamlin and Rhysand. And there's just going to be a lot of fucking and a lot of love and a lot of dates, and she's going to choose one. And I think Tamlin dies.
Fuck off!
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Here's what I think
And they
happens.
find out that Tamlin's love wasn't real, and he was only doing it for ulterior motives to save everything.
She knows that.
Yeah, but I think he figures out for himself, and she realizes it down the track, because now she's got time, and there's not all this Amarantha bullshit around.
Here's what I think happens. She's at Spring Court. Every time she's at the Spring Court, sex scene.
Yeah.
All right? Sexy scene between her and Tamlin.
Yeah.
Could be rough, could be sweet, who knows?
Love making,
all right?
Yeah.
And then she goes to the Night Court for 1 week every month. Sexual tension building. She's going there months on end for 1 week. Each time she comes back, she's making love to Tamlin, okay? One of the times she makes love to Tamlin, she thinks it's Rhysand. Like she imagines it's Rhysand thrusting into her.
Yeah.
And then the next time she goes to the Night Court, sexual tension, too much, crazy. Eventually, they fuck.
Okay. And then my final prediction is also that Jurian's eye and the bone that was lost. I think Pharaoh's going to have to find that to save the mortal land.
Damn,
It's going to play. Jurian,
She needs to destroy it.
Yeah,
And finally let Jurian rest.
Yeah, these are great predictions. we could write a book, man.
We really could.
I can't wait to see how wrong we are.
Okay, guys. Well, this is exciting. It's a 4-hour episode of just fucking 7 chapters. My God.
Yeah, but a lot of things that are new around here. So please let us know all your thoughts. And I think it's good if we both read them all and come to, in a fortnight's time, the Baddies Book Club will be here when our books arrive.
Yeah, and we will be how many chapters deep into the second one?
You want to go 7 again? Started slow.
7 seems to be good.
7's quite good, and it's slow, and it's enough to get the information out.
Yeah.
And new book's exciting.
Yeah.
And we'll also see if we want to do dramatized audio. Maybe we'll start with both. We'll
see.
you.
Let's actually, based off the comments of this episode, answering the question of, do you like this one where we really, really recap, or would you prefer just feelings and thoughts? If it's just feelings and thoughts, it's probably better to do more chapters and just do a little short recap and then just like feelings.
It's still very much in the air.
Yeah.
And also next week, you have a little surprise, but I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Sweet.